This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
You are listening to the Voices of Wrestling podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
X out and go listen to some boring podcast where they're afraid of their own shadow. Okay? Don't listen to Joe Lanza, because Joe Lanza's not changing.
And Rich Craich.
Give me a name. Like who delivers this guy in a big spot?
Joe, don't yell at me. I like
in the big spot, who delivers better than this guy?
Stop yelling at me. I agree.
And we are live here on the Voice of Wrestling Flagship podcast. I'm Rich Craich, alongside, as always, the King of Banter, Mr. Joe Lanza. Joe, Xfinity strikes again.
You gotta cheer up, buddy.
You can't. I can't even begin to let you know the amount of time I waste every single fucking week with these guys. The chats, the calls, I can't even begin to describe to you how much time I waste on a weekly basis with this guy. A fucking tech came over this week. I had to do fucking small talk while this asshole's plucking away, and I'm like, oh yeah, oh no, yeah, no, it's the, moving this wire, fucking around on his phone. Okay, yeah, you should be good. I go to the house, yeah, it's good. Okay, cool, thanks. Boom. Fucking Thursday at 7 o'clock, it goes to shit. 2 hours of that guy coming over. I did 8 chats yesterday. I've done 6 calls. Oh, it's COVID. We'll call you back. Oh, oh no, we can't take calls right now, but we'll call you back. How does Sunday at 6:30 on AM sound? Yeah, perfect, fine. Fucking call me then. Perfect. Let's do it. We go back and forth. It's fine. Okay, we're good. Let's go again. Yay. All right, 7 on a Thursday. Boom, it's utter shit. 8 o'clock on a Thursday. It's back to being good now.
Let it out. Let it all out.
I'm wasting so much time with this. I'm at a loss. What do you guys want me to do? That's the next call I'm gonna have is I don't care. Whatever. You want to pay $800 a month for fucking internet? I'll pay $800 a month for fucking internet then, I guess. If that's what it needs to be. It's ridiculous. The amount of time I've wasted on this. Every week.
Didn't you provide proof that it was working fine all day long?
Yes. I got them. They know. I got them. I did testing. I have a screenshot. I have a YouTube video of my screen showing everything fine. At 7, boom, everything goes down. Oh, that just must be scheduled maintenance in your area every week. Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time. There's scheduled maintenance in this area where I live only. That's perfect. Thanks, guys. Awesome.
You need to lawyer up.
Dude.
Go after him.
That always sounds like a good idea, you know what I mean? But, do I really want to lawyer up against Xfinity? I don't know if that's going to go well.
You're letting big internet bully you.
They fucking won. I told you, they've won. I'm done. They've won. They got me. I'm not done.
It's working fine now, right?
Yeah, 8 o'clock comes. Shit works perfectly fine, so.
You're coming through loud and clear. I don't know what to tell you, man.
It's just so frustrating. If we didn't have paying customers, obviously I wouldn't care, but I care about those folks, so.
I don't know. I got a 4-year-old over here. She gets upset. I tell her, take your breaths. Just take your breaths. Deep in, deep out. It takes you down a level. Take your breaths, Rich. There you go. See, it feels good. Take your breaths.
Yeah. So I can calm down and talk about Thunderdome with you.
The Thunderdome. That's right. I want to add a Thunderdome tier.
Yeah, we're going to definitely do that. I'd love nothing more than to see all of our listeners' ugly faces peering down on me while we do this podcast the whole time. Man. They're probably jerking it, There's buttholes everywhere. How bad would they be? They would be terrible, right?
I feel like this is a bad 80s movie where we switched bodies. This is some nasty content coming out of you.
I'm fired up. Yeah, I'm fucking fired up. Yeah, you're talking to a kid. I hear you, discussing, with your daughter. You're saying, oh, hey, what's going on? You're talking to your wife. You're having a good old time, and I'm just here. I'm like, Joe, are you ready? You're like, yeah, sure. Okay, honey. Good night. Bye. Thanks for buying me dinner. Okay, telling the kids bye, and then Yeah, then here I come, just fucking screaming.
I just,
Angry.
I try to stay cool,
Yes,
They call
Joe
me-
Lanza, Mr. Cool.
That's
the man
right.
the man who never flies off the handle, Mr.
Never.
Joe Lanza. Yeah, the man who.
I take my breaths.
Right. What something you're obviously always known for is decorum and
That's right. Remaining calm in all scenarios. And
right.
not overreacting. None of that.
We're going to talk about an irony wrestling show where the irony is that it's a good wrestling show. I can't wait.
Are you implying I'm going to fly off the handle?
Maybe. If there's a point in the show where you will, that's definitely one of them. Where the wink, wink, nudge, nudge is this show is going to be good, which is it's just chef's kiss. I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about it.
I just said hello to everybody when they came home. I don't know why they're all over.
No,
me for that.
I'm saying you're being a nice person. You're the docile home. Joe Lanza here, homeboy Joe Lanza, just like, hi, how's it going? All right, you're home, cool. I did the laundry, that sort of stuff. Not to break the shell there, but you're the wife's saying, oh, I bought you food. Okay, cool. Eat it later. Thank you. Bye.
How was your day?
Yeah, how was your day? We go live, and I'm just like, ah. I feel bad for thank God the nurse hasn't come yet. Yeah, the dogs are looking at me weird.
She'll just give it right back to you, though.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
You don't stand a chance.
Well, people always tell me like, oh, you're married to a nurse, so like if say I like roll my ankle playing basketball or whatever, I feel sick. Like, oh, you're married to a nurse, that should help. I'm like, no, that's not how it goes. I go, yeah, I rolled my ankle, and she goes, oh, I put some guy's heart back in his body, and I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, I had somebody die in my hands today. I'm like, yeah, I guess my ankle's okay. It's not too bad.
I put a man's heart back in his body.
Right.
Jeez.
It's like, hi, my scrubs are covered in blood and feces, and I just gave 190 people COVID tests today. How are you? I'm like, ankle's kind of sore, but that's okay. I'll get over it. I'll get ice. There's ice in the house. I'll find that.
Yeah, don't breathe on me, please.
Right, yeah, go in the other room and
Take your COVID to another room, please. Don't want no part of that.
Somehow she has not gotten it. We can't believe it. She gets tested every single week, and I'm just because she is like knee deep in it. Like if anybody should get it should be her. I thought for sure. We've had family members get it and stuff, and yeah, she's fine.
I mean, I got my own theories on that, but I'll keep them to myself.
That's fine.
I feel like it's not as bad as some people say, and it's way worse than the down players say. That's what I feel.
Somewhere in between, I think, is probably fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't think it's like you just instantly get it, in the presence of someone with it. I mean, look at these sports teams. These guys get them on these baseball teams, and then like no one else gets it. You know what I mean? Like, how's that possible? They're in the locker room together. They're sweating on each other. They're high-fiving. Your wife is testing people daily, never gets it. So it's like, but at the same time, you have to disregard the dopes who think it's a hoax and think
right. There's somewhere in between, but we as a society can't do that anymore.
No, we can't. No, it has to be total extremes.
Yeah, it either doesn't exist and it's just a liberal, agenda, or it's the worst thing in the world and nobody needs to ever leave the house ever again. So
right, yeah, exactly.
I think it's somewhere in between, but
I tend to think it's somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's just me. But listen. Because of the COVID, we now have the Thunderdome.
Yes. This is utterly ridiculous. I hope everybody listening has now seen they did a test screening, I guess. What would they call it? Like a dress rehearsal or something like that today of the Thunderdome. Our very own Joe Gagney was one of the members of the Thunderdome, but they didn't put him on the screen though, because I mean he's not exactly Brad Pitt, so I think
Jeez,
they saw Joe Gagney and were like, just wait in the holding cell there, pal. We'll get you up here eventually. So
now I know why the nurse is always all over you.
Just joking. I love Joe. Joe's the best.
You are just, it's not secretly sassy anymore.
No, I'm done with that shit. Yeah, that shit's done. That was pre-COVID. I don't give a shit anymore. So, no, but so our very own Joe Gagney was in there. He was able to give us some first-hand thoughts for some other people, some other media members as well that were in the Thunderdome. And if you have not seen the screenshots or the pictures of the Thunderdome, please do so as we describe it. But Joe, what a fucking ridiculous! Like it is every. I love this company now. I've now turned similar to Randy Orton. I've now I think turned the corner on WWE, and I think it's awesome because they're so utterly ridiculous and so bad at everything that they do that I think I'm kind of finding it funny again. You know, I'm not even like remotely upset. I think it's so fucking ridiculous that they took an idea that's working pretty well, I'd say, for the NBA. The NBA has this video wall. It's back in the corner. You barely see it. They cut to it every so often. You see it in the background when guys are shooting free throws. You know, sometimes when they do a close up, you see a few fans in the background. But that's it. It's not a central part of the game. The game can exist without, you know, the video board. If the video board went away or it malfunctioned, it would be no difference to the game whatsoever. So WWE decides, that's not a bad idea. Let's make it the entire fucking arena and let's have it be the hard cam. So as you're watching a wrestling show, you're met with lights from like 7,000 spotlights in the Amway Center and a video wall of a bunch of dopey old men's faces.
It's
what?
I mean, I don't think it looked terrible from certain angles. I think it at least freshens up the show because the WWE shows, I mean, obviously the atmosphere is horrendous and even the planted PC people are like losing energy.
Oh, they suck now. The planted fans are terrible now. This week's NXT, they couldn't muster anything at all. There's like 3 people clapping for Adam Cole when he comes out. It's just like,
yeah, they're just losing energy.
What's the same? Like, imagine those people are like, I mean, how many times are you going to use Caden Carter? Like, you know, Caden Carter's got to go home. Caden Carter needs to eat. You know, Caden Carter, hey, come here again for the 9th show this week. Like, oh God.
So, I mean, I think it will freshen things up. And like all of the other gimmicks they do, I think it'll pop, you know, whatever is considered popping a number these days for a week. But as we all know, it's not the core problem. The core problem is not the presentation. It's a small part of the problem. And I mean, the show stinks, which is why after a week or two of people of this novelty wearing off, it'll, you know, the same thing happened with the Raw Underground.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Nobody talks. I mean, the banter, the week-to-week banter about Raw Underground is dead. That first week, everybody was talking about it. The second week, a few people were talking about it. Third week, the only talk is, hey, no one's talking about the Raw Underground anymore. It's just, it's done now.
Yeah, it's exactly what we predicted. That the first night it would pop a little bit of a number, and it did. And the second week it would be down. And all those demos it was up in the first week, none of those people came back the second week, just like we said would happen. And now, like you're saying, it's like just another part of the bad show now. Because people are like, well, where's it going? There's like no story. They just cut to Shane McMahon's place.
Going, woo! All right, baby, let's go.
Yeah, and they got rid of the.
This week's was great as my boy Huas, and who was he against? I forget who he was against. But essentially, they rolled out of not the ring, whatever you want to call it, the mat. And Shane just went, yeah, baby, nice. And then just moved on. Like, it wasn't even, the match didn't end. The fight didn't end. They just rolled away and he went, oh, nice job, guys. Nice job, guys. And then it ended. And I was like, oh. I was kind of enjoying that, but okay, that's fine.
They would have been wise to set up a storyline the first week when everybody was watching. But they didn't do that.
Did I miss anything? Like, they have never explained what this actually is, right?
No, I mean, it's just wrestlers, right. You know, wrestlers drop in and decide they want to shoot fight. You know, and it's like Dolph Ziggler was there one week. And
yeah, but how is Shane McMahon commandeered a room in every, whatever. Why am I applying logic? I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. It's so now the point here is it now doesn't mean anything because they didn't ever do anything with it. It's just kind of there. Like the big thing week 1 was the show ended with MVP and Lashley and Shelton just kind of like they beat everybody up and just. The show faded to black, and it's like then they haven't done a story over the next 2. So the same thing's going to happen with Thunderdome. I mean, people are going to be curious about it. I'm sure the numbers will be slightly up, but it's the same terrible wrestling shows that nobody was watching before. The core problem isn't being addressed or hasn't been addressed yet, and I have no confidence it will be addressed because why would you have any confidence it's going to be addressed? They need a total teardown and restart. And I don't think they're equipped to do it. You know, Bruce Pritchard's not equipped to do it. And, you know, these gimmicks, I don't think it, you know, I saw some people who really liked the way it looked. I saw some people mocking it. I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't think it looked atrocious. It looks really bad with the hard cam because you just have a sea of lit up faces.
Yeah, that is going to be, they're going to struggle with that a lot. Like, honestly, what they should do, and hopefully, again, this was a dress rehearsal, so maybe they'll come back and have some feedback or whatever. What they should do is, again, like I said with the NBA main camera, you barely, I think you maybe get a little sliver of the video board available to you, and that's, I mean, so essentially they have the Amway Center, they put video boards all around the ring or whatever, all around the hard cam side of the ring, and that's fine. Like, but what I think what you should do is, and maybe some fans are not going to like it because they're in the corners or whatever, but like the main hard cam should be whatever you want it to be. Have it say SmackDown on it, have it say SummerSlam on it, have it show if you want to use that video board for something, that's fine. I have no issue with that video board existing behind the hard cam, but the fact that video board hard cam is just 70 people's faces is like all going to be moving around, like the optics of it are going to be just mind-boggling. It's just like literally seizure-inducing at this point when they're cutting around and doing all this sort of stuff. Because on the NBA games, the NBA hard cam, you don't even see the right. You see a sliver, kind of barely. Yeah, from a lot of the angles, you don't see it at all. Right. But with this, it's constantly in your face, especially the hard cam angle they were using today. It was just this bright lit up sea of face. They've got to adjust that. Maybe raise them up to where, like the NBA has it. If people can, want to flip on, if the people listening live want to flip on ESPN, I think there's a game on ESPN right this second. You can see what I'm talking about. The hard cam is sort of below the level of the virtual fans. And every now and then it pans up, or, commercial bumpers, they'll show them, or free throws, like you're saying. The WWE deal, it's just constantly in your face. And I feel like I want to see it in practice because I feel like that can end up being a distraction if they don't make adjustments. But they might make adjustments because, like you said, this was kind of a test run. But I thought some of the wide shots looked good. Yes, and that's what I'm saying. I think if you want to do that, maybe you have the crowd on those other sides, when you cut to a close up, you see the crowd on the side there, or but just to have it in the hard cam is just going to be way too distracting. It because you're going to have people, and the other thing as well is we're going to have people reacting, we're going to have people clapping or cheering or whatever. That shit's going to be delayed. There's going to be lag. There's so many things that can go wrong with having a video wall of 70 people as the central background of all of your wrestling. Like there's just a lot that can go wrong there that I don't love. The beauty of it is if it fucks up or malfunctions, you can blame Retribution. Yeah, the Fiend. You just put the Fiend's face on there and go, oh my God, the Fiend. I'm not even kidding. Like if it, at 100%, that's got to be on the sheet. As Michael Cole says, if the video boards fuck up, they'll cut everyone's feed and just say, Retribution's at it again. Right, exactly. It's good. It's smart. Yeah. If you have that out, you could just say that, and they should be taught to say that if something goes wrong with it. You have to wonder if Retribution's in the building, Cole. Just throw that out there, and then it covers your own ass. But look, they do a good job of production. I don't expect it to go poorly, but I just don't know if who cares? I mean, at the end of the day, we know what their core problem is. If they think that this is going to fix everything, they're wrong. I mean, it's the shows are bad. Yeah, it's a Band-Aid on the systemic issues. And it's yet another short-sighted thing that'll pop a number one time, maybe pop a little bit of talk. People talk about it for a week, and then it'll go away. I mean, we how many times have we gone through this exact same thing since fucking April at this point with the cinematic matches? And we were here saying, people are talking about it now, but they're going to get really bored of them soon, and they're going to roll their eyes about them now. And now we have at SummerSlam presumably another one of these that everyone's going to roll their eyes at and think suck, except for the fine folks at Squared Circle. The Reddit, those guys will love it, but it's just it's Band-Aid on top of Band-Aid on top of Band-Aid on top of Band-Aid while you're bleeding out. It's just whatever. It's ridiculous enough where I'm actually I can't get upset about it now because they're just so fucking ridiculous that I'm actually looking forward to seeing just how ridiculous it is. Look, I don't blame them for wanting to change it up because it was getting really stale and it wasn't helping. I do think running all of the shows out of that same dry building with the dry atmosphere with the same look wasn't helping, and it was hurting to a degree. But as I've stated over and over again, I do not think it's the core issue. So maybe it'll help a little. It can't hurt.
at least they're thinking outside the box and trying to mix it up. Honestly, I don't think it'll be too long before they could have real fans. We'll get into a topic later on, sort of in that direction. So if this can get them through the next couple of months before they can, I mean, they're still actively trying to find ways to sell tickets.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
That's in that contract in the Amway Center. It has to be.
Yeah. Or I mean, the Amway Center was just the backup plan because, they couldn't find a facility or an outdoor venue or whatever the case may be anywhere that was willing to, house SummerSlam. They may still be looking. But the Amway Center may have been the backup or may have always been the choice to move to television to so they could do this gimmick. But I don't blame them for trying to make changes, and I don't blame them for trying this. You can't keep doing the same things over and over. So, they started off with the empty building. That wasn't working. They put the planted fans in there. That worked for a little while, but then wore out its welcome, and they're running out of energy. So now they're trying this. That's fine. I don't mind them trying different things because these are obviously strange and unusual circumstances. And now we're getting this for SummerSlam and TakeOver, right? This is going to be the first. What's the first? It's going to be the TV first, right?
Yeah. So SmackDown this week will have it. TakeOver is not going to have it. TakeOver is staying at Full Sail for the time.
Oh, that's
being.
right. Forgot about that.
And then SummerSlam, the Thunderdome will be in full display at SummerSlam as well.
So we get it for SmackDown. We're getting it for SmackDown?
Yes.
We're getting it for SummerSlam, and we're getting it for Raw, and then away we go.
Right. And then I think, everything but NXT is going to be in the Thunderdome for now.
Yeah, they're in the Amway Center, from this point moving forward for all of their main roster TV and pay-per-views and whatnot, correct? At least
correct. Yes.
Okay. So, and I mean, it'll give NXT a different feel than the main roster shows again, so everything doesn't feel so samey. I really can't rip them for trying.
No, I mean, I think there's a way to do. I really do hope that they, look at it and say, okay, there's probably ways we can do this better. Maybe we don't need to fill every inch of this video board with someone's face, because I think there's a way to really do this and make it look really cool. But I just hope that, they do that versus, what I think they're probably going to do, which is just make it so fucking bright and so many cuts and so many things happening that your eyeballs just, glaze over. But we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing. So.
Yeah. I forgot the point I was going to make. I probably wasn't important.
You want to go over these weekend shows?
Yeah, I mean, I got one eye on this Reds game, and I lost my train of thought. But who cares? There's probably something about Thunderdome.
Yeah. No, we'll find out. Yeah, we'll find out this weekend what's going to go on with Thunderdome. We didn't talk about this either, but SummerSlam, obviously Sunday. Are you going to be around? You going to watch that show live?
Yes, I am.
I might watch it live as well. So, patreon.com/voicesofwrestling for any. When we make that official. Probably should have mentioned that to you before when we were on the line for an hour and 15 minutes, but
I guess I'm doing a live reaction.
I mean,
show.
If you want, I mean, if Comcast lets me do it, they probably will. They don't care about Sundays at 10. They don't give a shit about that. So
I'm being teased with boobs as we speak. By the way,
interesting. Not mine either. We're not on a video chat, so
no.
It's better, nicer boobs than mine. I'm sure.
Better be $6,000. But TLB waltzing down the stairs in the robe and then disrobes.
Wow, this happens a lot, man.
Because she knows I'm on the air, live,
she's trying to distract you,
and she's trying to be a wise guy over here with the boobies. But
it's appreciated, I'm sure, right?
Listen, I don't have any problem with it.
Right? I'm not gonna...
Boobies and other things that we can't get into. Maybe third hour.
My goodness.
Yeah, exactly. It's. You see why I'm losing my train of thought over here? I got the Reds game on.
Well, there you go. We've now switched it. You're back to being yourself, and I'm back to being myself. That's good. It's a brief moment there where I was ranting and raving and swearing and stuff, and you were a good family man, but that's now changed. So we're back to old school. So that's good.
Correct. What were we going to talk about?
Are you all right? Can you do the show, or are you done?
I'm fine.
You can go take care of business if you want. I can handle this.
Are those my wings? Yeah, just leave them on the I got wings, I got tits, I got baseball.
Dude, if you want, you stop. I'll do the rest of the show. You got a nice night going there.
You hear that? She said, I take care of my man.
Look at that.
There you go.
Wow.
What were we talking about here now? I got.
You tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready. I got.
Okay, you got the boobs are gone.
Games in a commercial. The boobs are upstairs.
Good, perfect. Okay.
And the wings situation for when the show is over is all settled.
Fantastic. So. Okay. We'll get the show over as quick as possible so you can get the wings and the boobs and
I got to do the boobs first because if I do the wings first, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. She doesn't want your terrible. You're gonna burp in her face and shit. Yeah,
stinky wing breath.
Yeah.
So it's and plus it's gonna come right out of my asshole like fire. So I got to eat the wings. After this, I have to have sex and then eat wings.
Yeah, okay.
But listen, there's not going to be any sex.
Well, good luck on the sex. Oh, yeah. She'll be in bed. She'll be snoring by the time you get up there, right?
She's going to be sleeping in 45 minutes.
That's what happens. That's what happens. That's why I said, like, my post-flagships are nurse comes home, I wave hi, she eats something, I go into the bed, she's snoring and hugging both the dogs. So it's just like,
Yeah, I'm getting... I
get yelled at when I come into the room because I wake her up. So, yeah, that's...
I get a boob and thong reveal now, but she'll be asleep in 45 minutes. Right. So it's boobs and thongs holding up wings. It's like, what am I? This is like, fantasy scenario, but
I'm saying you can go handle that if you want. I can talk Pat McAfee,
Listen, I am here to break down Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, hair versus hair.
We shall do that. Well, actually, let's start with TakeOver first. Let's do TakeOver first before we can
TakeOver before the SummerSlam.
Yeah. That's chronologically it makes sense to do it that way. So,
is it going to bother your? Is it going to bother your sensibilities if we don't do it chronologically?
Yes, yeah, it would.
Okay,
I mean, we can if you want. You can make me more.
No, listen. I don't want to. Look, you're already on edge.
I'm on edge. Let me have this.
You're already on edge. I clearly have a great night ahead of me. So. Reds are winning. I got wings waiting for me. Boobies, everything. So I feel like it's the first hour of the show, so I should be saying boobies, but I could just say tits, right?
Nah, boobies are good for the first hour, I think, for advertiser purposes,
Well, okay.
No, nobody sponsored this show. Call them tits.
There's no sponsor.
Yeah, call them tits. Yeah, call them
tits. They're titties. So listen, I don't want to drive you further into insanity, so we'll just do TakeOver first.
All right.
It's no problem.
Let's do NXT TakeOver XXX. Let's get our mind out of the gutter. Talk about NXT TakeOver XXX here. We are not going to be doing a live show during this. I think I'll have better things to do on my Saturday night. Back in the day, I didn't have anything better to do on Saturday nights than watch NXT TakeOvers. But, these days, I'd rather just stare at the sun or something. All right. Pre-show match. We have a pre-show match on a TakeOver.
Here's the thing, too, Rich. You got to pump the brakes because we'll have nothing to talk about next week if we do live reaction shows.
Exactly.
So, so we got to save something for the ship.
Yes. So there's a pre-show match here, which I'm guessing for the first time in the 38 takeovers that we've had, there's a match on the pre-show that will be airing, live and I'm sure it has absolutely nothing to do, zero to do with the fact that AEW will be running at the same time, right? Complete coincidence, as always.
Total coincidence.
But
look, as Triple H said on the call, he worries about NXT. He doesn't worry about kid touchers on his roster.
No.
He doesn't worry about quickly slipping demographics. All he worries about is NXT. It's all that matters. How much longer is he going to do these calls? Do you think they're over?
Yeah, they're going to be close to over. I heard highlights from this call and some bits and pieces from this call, and it's like, but before they used to be, you probably remember these, we used to hear them all the time, and they'd pop up on different audio feeds or whatever. But yeah, 20 of these calls ago, it's like, hey, what's going on, guys? Like, how you doing? And we have some great shows. Kevin Owens is going to be facing Sami Zayn. Like, he's just excited. Now he's just like, yeah. It's just like. The excitement level has plummeted, and the answers are just like one-word answers. Move on. No, I don't have an answer. No, I don't know. Yeah, I think they're not long for this world. The Triple H conference calls. So
they're starting to ask some real questions.
Yeah,
too.
right.
And we'll see.
There's no fruit baskets. The days of fruit baskets are over. It appears. So
who is it? Jason Powell.
Yeah, credit to. Standing ovation for Jason Powell, by the way, doing some real journalism on that call, asking about the Velveteen Dream thing, being told, no, we don't have anything about that. We investigated. There's nothing more. Move on. Next question. And then nobody else asking another question about Velveteen Dream.
Yeah, Rich, I've been on these kind of calls, and as you know, the wrestling media is an absolute disaster. I mean, it's a dumpster fire. It's, a bunch of people it's a total clown show, a bunch of amateurs, working for these terrible websites. Nobody ever asks a decent question. So it's even more kudos to Powell for having some balls and asking a real question on this one, because I've been on these things and the questions are always just absolutely atrocious.
What match are you looking forward to most on Sunday?
Nothing anybody ever cares about.
Right.
I mean, so it's interesting to see if they'll have him back. I mean, the thing is, you're never going to get it. Like, what do you expect Triple H to say to a question like that? Of course, he's going to dodge it. But that's his problem.
Yeah, you got to ask it. You got to ask it.
You got to ask it and then let him look like the fool. You know what I mean? You can't not ask it and have you look like the fool. You got to at least attempt. You have to at least attempt to do a solid job when you're on these calls.
Yeah, and that's why I think, Jason's question was fantastic too, because he didn't just say, "Hey, what's the latest on Velveteen Dream or whatever," and then Triple H go, "Oh, we investigated. There's nothing more." He said,
specifics.
I don't have the quote in front of me exactly, but or verbatim or whatever. But one of the person that accused Velveteen Dream claims that they were never contacted. So did you do a thorough investigation? Did you and that right there, that you have evidence, you have something, so now he looks like an absolute dope by being like, yeah, we investigated and no, move next. I'm the next question, which is so again, credit to Jason for adding that part to the question, because it's a totally different question if you say what's the latest on Dream and then Triple H goes, oh, we looked into it and there's nothing. Okay, we're done then. You know what I mean? Like, then there's no need for follow-up. There's no need. But, Jason's saying, hey, look, one of the accusers was never contacted. So, did you actually investigate? And then, so yeah, credit to him for sure. And I should say, like, I half get it. And it's one of the big issues with these calls, and it's the big issues with wrestling media in general, is the fact that a lot of these people, their lifeblood is this access. And they're so fucking worried about losing this access, so they can't have, dopey headlines. Triple H says Karrion Kross versus Keith Lee will be the surprise match of the weekend. Or, like, they need those headlines so badly that they don't want to lose this access. They don't want to lose these things. So they don't stick their necks out and ask these types of questions for fear that WWE's going to say, that guy can't come back next time and he's not coming back again. But, good on Jason. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, if enough people do this, you can't just hide from it. You can stop doing these calls altogether. But, in sports media,
they'll do. They'll kick people like that off, and they'll stop doing the calls, because for years they didn't acknowledge the media at all. So it's like, look, we've been invited to these sorts of things for other companies or whatnot, and on rare occasion we do one. But a lot of times when we get the invites, I don't do them because I know I don't have any decent questions. Like, if I don't have any decent questions that I think our listener base or our readership would care about, I don't go on the call.
Right.
Because I'm not interested in asking kayfabe questions or shit that no one cares about, or just asking a question for the sake of asking a question. So a lot of times we don't even go on the calls. There was an Impact call a few months ago where I felt like there was it was right when they moved to Anthem, and I thought that there were some interesting things that we could ask. Scott D'Amore was on that call. So I went on that call and I asked him like 3 decent questions. But like a lot of times, it's like, I don't have a question about Slammiversary, because there's really nothing going on that our listenership is really going to care about, because our listenership doesn't care about kayfabe questions. So we just blow it off. But a lot of these outlets, like you're saying, their lifeblood are these, dopey headlines of, kayfabe stuff. And, you see these sites, tweets as headlines all day long. If you look on your Twitter feed, it's just tweets as headlines. So-and-so said this about so-and-so, and you click the article and it's just a tweet. That's not what we do. That's not what I ever want to do, even though we'd make a lot more money doing it.
Yeah, that's why I have to fucking go to bed in 4 hours so that I can, get up in 6 hours. Yeah, that's why I have to punch a fucking clock every day, because I won't sell my soul to do that shit. But, yeah, I guess I'm glad. Some days I'm glad.
And a lot of these people, let's be honest, a lot of them are probably just marks and want to talk to Triple H.
Sure.
From a lot of these
sites.
sites.
And they know that too. Again, the wrestlers know that, and it's something. It's somewhat unique to pro wrestling, I would say, because you don't get that in sports. I've done sports journalism. I've talked to professional athletes. I've talked to coaches. And it's nobody ever really has that starstruck. I don't know what for some reason you kind of lose it in sports journalism. I don't know how or why or what happens, but you just kind of, and there's times where you're like, you get an interview and you're like, oh, it's really cool. Like, on Over and Back, we talked to, Bob Ryan once, and I thought that was really cool. We talked to Bernard King once, and I thought that was super cool. Dr. J we talked about. The Dr. J one, that's one where I was just like, holy fuck, we're talking to Dr. J, but like, at the end of the day, it's not like, that's Dr. fucking J we're talking about, you know what I mean? I'm allowed to be a little, hyped up about Dr. J, but like, it's just, for some reason, it just kind of knocks out. Sports journalists rarely are that way. They rarely are just in awe of the person they're talking to, but wrestling journalists, quote unquote, are, and I don't exactly know why.
Well, it's because they're not journalists. They're just
probably it. They're headline
they're
writers.
They're 22-year-old kids working for Scoops with a Z. They're not journalists. So that's why. That's the exact. Now listen, don't let sports journalists off the hook because they ask terrible questions too.
Oh no, they're real bad.
And it drives me nuts. And I say the same thing. I watch these, post-game press conferences every night with the manager of my favorite baseball team. And 90% of the questions are vapid bullshit that don't even waste your time asking it. I'd rather you not ask him anything than ask the manager how to feel to win today. Like, nobody cares. You're going to get the same stock generic answer you got last night. Why are you even asking that? Because you have to justify your job. And you have to put something in that game story. And if you're not, if you're not talented enough to come up with interesting questions, maybe you shouldn't have the job. So it's just, I think it's just something that overall in all of sports journalism, people are just bad at it. They don't know the interesting angles to approach things. And they don't know the questions to ask. And in some cases, they're afraid to ask the questions that, like you're saying, might lose them access. Mm-hmm. Jason Powell was not afraid to ask a question that might lose him access. And he knew that might possibly lose him access. And he might. But he still had the guts to ask it. And whoever went after him and didn't have follow-ups, when Triple H basically said, I don't want to talk about it anymore, let's talk about something else, they should all be ashamed of themselves. That should have been your first clue to ask another question. Yeah,
that should have saying that to a group of supposed journalists or supposed reporters. Who the fuck are
you to tell them what to ask?
Yeah, that was my light turns on and I go, oh, that's it. That's is all we're talking about now. If I was doing a game story and a coach said, yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's now the rest of my questions because something's going on here. Something's happening here. Something's a little weird here. Let's talk. Let's investigate this a little bit more. That, telling me don't talk about it anymore. That means I'm pushing you, man. Don't say that. Yeah. Answer the question and you do a better job of answering the question and yourself sort of moving on, but telling people to move on, telling people to not ask you anymore. No,
absolutely not. I mean, that showed that he was on his heels. And he gave his PR answer, but someone should have followed up and made him come up with another one. Or, slip up and say something. So, I don't know. But
ProWrestling.net, by the way, is where Jason Powell writes. So give a little credit to his outlet, too, for allowing him to do that and stand out and make a name here. But, all right, let's talk about TakeOver XXX. So, again, number one contenders match, complete accident that there's doing a live pre-show here. Your guys, Legado del Fantasma, Breezango, and then Birch and Lorcan. So this match would have been awesome, but it also features Breezango.
This is a three-way.
How good would this match be without Breezango?
I didn't even know this match was happening until I went to write my portion of the preview for the site. Is that posted yet or no?
That is, yes. VoicesOfWrestling.com. It is there.
So we got a preview up. It was myself and Jeff Hawkins doing the preview for this takeover. And I had no clue this match was even happening until I pulled up the doc and saw it. So you could have made this up and I wouldn't know the difference. But this is the pre-show match. And I am on record as saying that Birch and Lorcan flip a coin. They have been the two best wrestlers in WWE in 2020.
They rock. No, they're good.
And it's been across all five brands. I mean, they've wrestled on all five brands. They wrestled NXT UK early in the year. They're obviously all over NXT. They've been on Raw. They've been on SmackDown. They've been on 205 Live. And look, they're never given a lot of time. They're never in main events. They're never getting a chance to go out there for 22 minutes. They go out there for 6-7 minutes, and they just kill it in whatever they're asked to do and whatever role they're put in. And they're both so good. And I would love to see them win this and go into a program with Imperium because I think those matches could be great. and we saw Birch and Lorcan get one. Didn't they wrestle Undisputed Era on a takeover like a year and a half ago or something?
Yes, yeah. I forget what
really,
takeover was that. Let me find out what takeover that was, because that was a good match.
It was a great match, and it's like that's the only big time opportunity they've really ever had as a team. And they do a lot of jobs, but they've been great. And Legado del Fantasma.
Oh, Takeover Chicago too. I was there. I should remember that.
There you go. And Legado del Fantasma, I mean, the Mendoza Wild team, they've been wrestling. I watched all of 205 Live. I'm all caught up on 205 Live. I'm one of the few people on Earth.
You and Vic Joseph are... Yeah,
I'm the guy.
Might be it.
But, they've wrestled a couple of tag matches there, Mendoza and Wild, and they've been very good, especially Mendoza, who has just been really impressive. And I wouldn't mind seeing them get a little tag team push, which means, of course, Breezango is going to win the match. I mean, you can see it coming a mile away. Because this entire company is an elaborate troll to just get under my skin. So the one team that's worthless, and I have no use for – I didn't even know it was Breezango until – I thought it was Breezango. Did you know it was Breezango?
Oh, is it Breezango or is it Breezango?
There's no D. The name of the team is Breezango. Doesn't Breezango work better?
Yeah, I feel like I've been calling him Breezango, haven't I?
I've been calling them Breezango from day one.
Uh-oh.
It should be Breezango.
Is it Breezango? Am I wrong? Did I have a typo or no? That's it.
No. It's Breezango.
Interesting.
But I always thought it was Breezango.
I think I've been calling them Breezango as well. So.
But they it should be Breeze. They fucking stink. That's what their name should be.
They're so bad.
Because they're terrible.
What are we doing? Like, it's just, you see them on the show too, and it's just like, they're so out of place. Why are they there? They don't need, dude, let these guys go. I don't know. I understand they don't want to fire the guys. I know they want to do something with them, but yeah, just, I don't know. Put them somewhere I don't have to watch them. They drag a lot of stuff in NXT down, especially this match. We're talking about two tremendous tag teams that can go out there and have an incredible match head to head with AEW. And you want to take viewers away from AEW. Have these guys go out here and just have a fucking kick-ass 20-minute back and forth incredible tag team match that will take people away. People will watch that. Doing cuts when Breezango's in the ring. It's just it's silly, but.
Yeah, I don't know, but they'll probably win. I would like to see the Cartel team win, because it'd be cool if they just kind of take over the tag team titles, the cruiserweight title, because that's an interesting act. I mean, they've been the most interesting act on NXT in my opinion. I like everything they're doing with those three guys, but no, I don't know. I just have a feeling that. The shittiest of the three teams. We're talking a lot about this.
Yeah, we really are. Let's move on to another match that they announced on social media as opposed to the actual television show. Finn Balor, shooter guy, pew pew versus Timothy Thatcher.
I don't get what's happening with Finn Balor.
I don't get it either. What are they doing?
He comes to NXT. You think it's the big main roster star. They're going to build the brand around, draw some ratings with this guy, going head to head with Dynamite. He's like a part-timer.
He comes in and then he's gone for 6 weeks. Yeah, and he's gone for 4 to 6 weeks. I don't get it.
He loses every big match. He's lost 3 matches in a row. He is undefeated on TakeOver since he returned. But there were matches against Damian Priest or, whoever the fuck. He loses all of the matches that are for title shots or, actual title shots. And then he disappears for weeks on end. It's weird how they've booked him, but he should beat Thatcher because Thatcher's the kind of guy that, you can. The only reason Thatcher should win that match is if they're doing a long-term program with the two. Otherwise, there's no reason. My hypothesis here is Finn Balor beats Thatcher. Karrion Kross is winning the main event, I think, and then maybe you can go to Finn Balor, Karrion Kross as your next big title program.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, because at some point, you got to do something with Finn Balor, because he's just a dude on the roster that comes occasionally. He talks a bunch of shit about everybody, and then he goes away for 4 weeks, and it's I don't really understand the point or the purpose, or if we're supposed to root for him or boo him or get excited about him. I don't know what we're supposed to do with Finn Balor.
It just feels like it definitely feels like they're not utilizing him as well as they can. It's
perplexing. It's really, really weird.
Why isn't he on the show every week being featured?
Guess as good as mine. Yeah, but you're right. Like it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. He beats Timothy Thatcher and he's going for the title the next time. You know, like there's nothing that would stop that from happening either. So that's just part of the weirdness of current NXT. But let's go on to the ladder match here in NXT North American Championship here. Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, Cameron Grimes, Johnny Gargano, and Velveteen Dream in this ladder match. NXT ladder matches are usually baseline pretty good. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of flippy-doos, a lot of people doing stuff off ladders, a lot of just dumb ladder spots. Sometimes they really land with me, and lately they haven't really landed with me because I think I've kind of gotten sick of ladder matches. But there's a lot of names here. There's a lot of good talent, I'd say, in this match. But I don't know. It is an interesting collection where I don't think it's going to get too flippy or too crazy. But I don't know. What's your take on this ladder match?
They do these matches too much, and I just can't get excited about it. And I wouldn't be stunned if Velveteen Dream wins. And what I don't understand is why they continue to stick their neck out for this guy. Like, what's so special about him that he just can't be sent on his way because he's too much trouble? Why would you not just wipe your hands clean of this guy? Like, what does he have on them? Do they really think Velveteen Dream is going to be some huge difference-making star for them down the line? Because I don't think that. And it's like, you know, and that's no reason to justify the things he's been accused of.
No, of course not, yeah.
But even outside of those accusations, he's nothing but trouble. Constantly, allegedly being sent to rehab and getting in the car accidents and just getting into trouble all the time. And it's like, at some point, and then you toss in these accusations, and it's like, at some point, is this guy really worth the trouble?
Right, yeah.
I don't think he is. I don't get it. Like, I would have washed my hands clean of this guy a long time ago. You know, it's like they didn't waste any time with like Travis Banks or these other guys. Like, I don't really see Velveteen Dream that much, more significant than guys like that in the big picture long term.
Yeah, no, sorry, go ahead.
Especially now, since people have turned on him because they feel like he's a real sketchy motherfucker, you know? So it's like, even the fan base he had, it doesn't exist anymore. So it's like, what's the point with this guy? Why are they, it's like they're playing with fire with Velveteen Dream, and they're going to get burned by this guy. And I don't get why they're not being risk averse when it comes to this clown. I don't get it. He should just be gone.
Yeah, I'm perplexed as well every time I see, you know, that he comes back and returns, and then, you know, they say, oh, we did the event, they do all this, and I'm right with you. Like, I think there was a time where I think he was on the trajectory to being, like, you know, a main roster guy and like maybe a star, but that's going to be done now. Like, there's no way that's going to happen anymore. And even if you do push him to the moon, the stuff's just going to keep coming up and keep coming up and keep coming up. He's just not worth it anymore. This is, you know, and we're not talking about Jimmy Snuka here. We have to cover up an alleged murder for this guy because he's your main eventer and he's selling out towns left and right and all that sort of stuff. And no, you don't have to ever do that. Of course, that's never what you should do. But like, you know,
people get what you're saying. You're not.
Yeah, I'm not advocating that Vince McMahon should give a cover up a murder or whatever. But it's like, you know, it's. On a lesser extent, it's like, hey, is this a bad guy? You do the math, the internal math, and you say, you know what, maybe, but like he's an important part of our business, so let's see if there's ways that we can get around. Like, there was times where, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin had been, you know, alleged to be, you know, domestic abuse and stuff, and WWE largely kind of said, you know, we'll, you know, kind of slap on the wrist, that sort of stuff. Again, not right, but it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. You could get how internally in their minds they're thinking, oh, geez, what the hell do we do here? We can't just let Stone Cold Steve Austin quit. Like, what are we gonna do? You know, yada yada yada. It's Velveteen fucking Dream. Like, at the first.
Guy gets, the bottom line is he gets star protection, and he's not a star.
Exactly, and yeah, nobody should ever get that type of protection, especially if he actually is guilty of the things that he's alleged to be guilty of. But like you said, even if that was gone, even if we didn't have any screenshots or any, you know, text or any sort of DMs or anything like that, he's a weird, like, he's crashing his cars all the time. He's in quote unquote rehab all the time. He's getting these 60 to 90 day sabbaticals. Like, what are we doing? Like, why all this effort for a guy who at this point now very clearly is not on the trajectory of becoming a superstar, of a WrestleMania main eventer. Like, he's not on that trajectory anymore. And even if he was on that trajectory, I don't think you can just escape it these days. You know, I don't think you can just say, no, it's fine, no, it's fine, no, it's fine. For, you know, like you said, you're going to get burnt eventually with him. So what's the point? You're going to push him. He's going to win the North American Championship. He's going to be a vocal part of your TV. Like, you can't do that. Like, you got to, you know, it's not worth it.
I would be terrified that another allegation is right around the corner when it comes to him. I'd be terrified of that. I mean, but I don't know. I don't get it. I don't see why he's considered so valuable that he needs this kind of protection. Or is it possible that they did investigate and they're this huge company with a lot of resources? Is it possible they investigated and did come up empty? Is that possible?
Yeah. Oh, sure.
I mean,
but
it would be very hard to fake these multiple allegations that, by the way, were all very similar. Like his
template.
Like,
it was a template.
line.
We talked about that. There was a template to all these, which is like, these are, a bunch of different people all across, that all have the exact same basic template, same sort of structure to how the messages came, how they were received, how the conversations went. Like, I don't know
what his angle was. It was always, "Oh, I'll help you work out, bro. Like, I'll help you out." But like, it was that kind of thing every time. Like, it was the same pattern with every allegation, and the phone number matched his real phone number allegedly, and people think it was his voice. I'm not as compelled by the voice because I don't know, that part's a little sketchy to me. Like, people could have a voice that sounds similar. Are you certain that was his voice? But I mean, I'm not defending him. I'm just saying that part of it, I think, doesn't really hold a ton of water in my opinion. But all the other stuff, I mean, there's just so much of it, and it's all similar. And at the end of the day, is he worth the trouble?
Right. Well, it's like Enzo Amore. The second Enzo Amore started being a bunch of fucking trouble and headaches, they just said, you know what, get out of here. Just go away. Yeah. Like, go away and don't come back. And I don't know if I forget how the result of all that stuff was. It doesn't matter because they realized you're just not fucking worth the trouble. You're Enzo fucking Amore. Yes. Like, just go away.
And you're going to get in trouble. And you hang around with shitty people, so you're going to be in shitty situations.
Maybe you didn't sexually assault this person, but god damn it, you're an idiot. And you hang around with bad people, so I don't even know what's around the horizon, but we don't want to be a part of it when you do whatever you're going to do next. So just get the hell out of here.
And you hid that you were part of an active sex assault investigation.
Right.
That was why the official reason they fired him was he did not disclose that he was being investigated for a sexual assault. And they fired him for that. And it's like, again, if we keep you employed, what else are you not going to disclose to us that's going to embarrass us as a publicly traded company? So they washed their hands of him. You're gone. And I don't understand why Velveteen Dream is not handled the same way.
I don't get it.
It really blows my mind. I don't get it.
Anyway, I don't know if I have a good pick for this match. It's just like, I don't know. Like, any
one of these guys can win it. It's like they all have positives and negatives.
I could see Bronson. I think Bronson would be my favorite to win it because it seems like a good time to kind of push him in the way they've been sort of, I think moving him up the ladder, literally and figuratively would be good. So
he's in the middle of a push.
Yeah.
Damian Priest is like this shocking ratings mover for NXT. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the quarters.
I have seen that. Yeah, is it the ladies that are hot for Damian? I could get that.
I don't know what it is, but his quarters do well. Like, they either gain viewers or they don't lose as many as the quarter before. He always does well, and they've been positioning him in key quarters now too. So there's this weird thing going on with him where he's like this low-key ratings draw. Gargano, I think, is doing a tremendous job with his heel persona with Candice. I'm enjoying that stuff. Grimes would be like a chicken shit heel troll champion. I could see from that perspective. And they love Velveteen Dream, which we just talked about. So you can make an argument that any one of these guys can win it. I really don't have a solid pick.
We'll move on to the Women's Championship match, Io Shirai versus Dakota Kai, which I think has been a pretty good build here. And I think a pretty obvious winner, but where do you stand on Io Shirai, Dakota Kai?
I think Kai feels hot right now, and they brought back Raquel Gonzalez. Why do you do that if she doesn't win?
I agree. And I think Io Shirai has a place now in the main roster because they're missing a Japanese woman, so they need to replace the Japanese woman so that she can go and scream and do the Kairi Sane role with Asuka. So it just seems all too obvious that Io Shirai moves up to the main roster, fills in the Kabuki Warriors role that Kairi Sane had. And Dakota Kai, like you said, they heated her up, they brought back her muscle. It just makes all the sense in the world. And I think it's time to move on from Io Shirai too. And I think she's kind of gotten long in the tooth in NXT. Even though I still enjoy it a lot, I think it's time for Dakota Kai to get that next push and kind of put a new coat of paint on that title. So.
And Kai's doing well with the push.
Oh, she's great. Yeah, she's awesome. So
she's delivering, and obviously the long-term program is eventually splitting her and Gonzalez. And Gonzalez they obviously like and is going to get a big push with all that size and everything. to eventually be fed to Charlotte. But, that's like the long-term move there.
Yeah, to eat a moonsault from Charlotte. Hits her in the face or something like that and gets pinned. So, all right, we got to talk about this one. I cannot wait to talk about this match, Joe. Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee. I've been talked into the building, Joe. This promo by Pat McAfee was so good. How good was this promo on NXT this week?
Okay, so nobody's going to know what we're talking about right now, but Galvis got the bunt down.
Did he really? Congratulations to Freddie Galvis. Oh, but did he get gunned down at first?
Not so fast, my friend. He didn't get it past the pitcher, and he got thrown out.
Oh, nuts! Yeah, that's
but he
a problem.
Finally got it down.
Well, congratulations to Freddie Galvis. So,
yeah, it was the best WWE promo in months. Because it wasn't
ever. No, it wasn't.
Because it wasn't universe speak.
No, and it was a human. It was a human being talking.
And it wasn't WWE cadence that they teach you in the Performance Center. And it wasn't the WWE buzzwords and vernacular. He went out there like a human being, and he cut a heel promo, and he used his own vocabulary. You felt like everything he said was something that he would say, and it ruled. And it stood out from every other promo in the company, partially because it was so different, and it actually felt like a real wrestling promo, which we haven't heard in this company in years. So we may be overrating it. It may not have been as good as we think it was, but because it was so different and stood out, it made it seem like it was maybe better than it really was. But for a guy cutting his first ever pro wrestling promo, my God, he did a tremendous job.
No, I thought it was great. No, I honestly don't think we're grading on a scale. I really don't, because if you listen to the promo and you listen to everything that he did, and like you said, yeah, the cadence, the actual topics that he was talking about, the way that he spoke, it was all how a normal human being speaks. And if you need the juxtaposition, just wait till Adam Cole grabs the mic and goes, Pat McAfee this Sunday at NXT TakeOver 30, and it's like, nobody would say that. You're in a fight here, and like Pat McAfee didn't do that. He's talking, he's walking, he's moving while he's talking, and like, yeah, and the other thing too is like everything that he said, and the reason why I like this promo so much is, and it kind of speaks to this entire feud, and we'll talk about it here in a little bit, but like this whole feud is Adam Cole is supposed to be the babyface and Pat McAfee is supposed to be the heel. Why Adam Cole and why Undisputed Era are the baby faces, I don't know. I guess they turned heel by going a 4-on-2 attack. On somebody, was it 4-on-3? I forget what it was. They definitely had the man advantage when they attacked somebody, and that turned them face. But the crowd is instructed, and I had people on Twitter arguing, no, I don't think it's heel versus face. Like, the plants are chanting for Adam Cole and booing Pat McAfee. So it's clear that's the way they think it's supposed to be. Is that Adam Cole's the babyface and Pat McAfee's the heel. But all Pat McAfee does in this entire feud, it's like when we talk about it, it's very similar to a few years ago with Becky and Charlotte, where they just didn't understand who the face was and who the heel was. Many times now WWE does this, and I don't know why. I don't know how they're so confused by this, but Pat McAfee comes out there and says, Adam Cole, you needed Undisputed Era to help you win the title. That's what started this whole feud. And Adam Cole got mad and said, fuck you, or, all that stuff on the Pat McAfee show. It was true, by the way, because that did happen. We all saw it, right?
Correct.
For months and months on end, a whole year. He got help from UE to win every one of his, title matches. So that's true. So he's not lying there. Adam Cole gets upset. Adam Cole tries to step to him. Pat McAfee beats his ass. Then he comes on the air here and says, you won the title because, UE helped you, and then you stepped to me and I kicked your ass. And we're supposed to boo that.
Right. Well, what makes him a heel, though, like, everything you're saying is correct, but to be fair, he did kick Adam Cole in the head when Adam Cole was incapacitated by a bunch of bodyguards and laying on a table, and it wasn't like mano-y-mano. It wasn't two guys square. So that's the heel part of it. I feel like, and it wasn't clear, okay, but I feel like that moment was a double turn. I feel like that when McAfee kicked Cole when Cole was basically down and being restrained and held on the table, that was a double turn, especially the way Triple H reacted and the way the commentators reacted.
Oh, no, for sure.
At that point, you're supposed to think that McAfee is the heel and Cole is now a babyface. So I think that was kind of like a double turn there, especially because the afterthought, which was the match, right? Undisputed Era ended up losing because they were distracted by all that, and Imperium gave them a cheap shot and put them away to win the match. So I feel like that was a double turn for not just Cole, but the entire Undisputed Era and McAfee. With that said, it all is very confusing, though.
And it speaks to a larger problem too, and it's the same problem that we always have, and we mention it time and time again, is that when you have all your heels be chicken shits that need help to win everything, then when they turn face, they can't, you can't just say, oh no, I win fair, because like what Pat McAfee is saying is not a lie. Adam Cole did use UE to help him win all his matches for 400 days, and that's the heat, is him saying that. And we're supposed to say, oh no, that's not how it happened, but that is how it happened. We just watched it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And it's going to happen when they eventually turn Sasha and Bayley. And one day, all of a sudden, now Sasha's going to win all of her matches fair, and Bayley's going to cheat, or the other way is around. And they're going to say, oh, well, Sasha won this many titles, and she did it because she worked harder than Bayley, and sort of stuff. And it's like, no, she didn't. We saw it. And that's why it's sometimes easier just to have your heels win matches. Just be bad people or whatever, but just win your matches. But when every heel wins via chicken shit manner, and people run in all that sort of stuff, that eventually when you turn them face, like they're doing with Adam Cole, you got 2 years of chicken shit behavior behind them, and it's really hard to kind of attach to these people and say, oh yeah, no, you're cool now.
Right, because they don't think these things through. Maybe when a turn is coming, you have these people wrestle matches in a more straight-laced way and just start winning, because it's okay for them to just win matches at that point, because you're heating them up for a babyface turn.
Right. 4 months ago, Undisputed Era comes out and Adam Cole says, no, I got this. I'll win with them. And, then they can come and celebrate with him after. But you plant the seeds that he doesn't need those guys to win.
Right. And then once he does start winning, it's like the fans, that also helps the fans to get behind the person before you do the turn, because it's like, now there's no more reason to hate this guy or to think he's full of shit because he's winning his match. You know what I mean? So that's used to be how it was done. But look, we know that this company is broken and they don't do anything right, especially something like this. They just feel like their fans are stupid and they can just turn people on dimes, and it doesn't matter what comes in behind it or what the lead up is. It's just, we're turning this person and now you have to accept them as a face or a heel now.
Right.
And there is no thought put into it. It's just everything is broken.
But let's talk about this match, because I think you and I are probably we're pretty we're pretty optimistic about this match. I see a lot of people that are like, oh, I don't know, I'm not quite sure. And it's like, dude, the guy's like a natural athlete. He's like a legit top tier athlete. Yeah, he's a punter. We talked about it a few weeks ago on the show. Yeah, he's a punter. Yeah, he's this, but he's like a top tier athlete. And it's not a guy who this is the first time he's jumping into a wrestling ring. There's been rumors and all this sort of stuff, and I think some we've heard from some people as well that this guy's been training pretty much on and off for 3-4 years at this point. He's got a wrestling ring. You know what I mean? He's got guys training him. He's ready for this. He's ready to go. And even if he wasn't ready to go, he's still a fucking pro athlete. We've had this argument many times on the show before, not you and I, but kind of arguing with people that don't understand how much of a leg up natural athletes have in pro wrestling.
Yeah, it's the best base to have is to be a great natural athlete, and that doesn't guarantee you're going to be a great pro wrestler. No. But, that's the best base to have, obviously. And it's like, this guy is, we went over his athletic credentials a few weeks ago. He's not just your standard NFL kicking specialist. He's 6'1". He's 230 pounds. He was an elite NFL punter. By the way, he was a great college kicker, Lou Groza Award finalist. So he was a kicker and a punter. A kickoff specialist in the NFL, a punter and all that. But a guy who wasn't afraid of contact. He was known in his NFL career he was a punter who would invite contact and make tackles on punts. And the guy's a maniac, and he's a very good athlete. He's not your usual everyday, kicking specialist who's hiding from contact and isn't a real athlete. He just happens to be able to kick well. That's not this guy. And he's, in his early 30s. He's still in his athletic prime. He does have the bad knee. He had to retire because of all of those crazy hits. He blew out his knee a bunch of times. So, he did have to retire because of a bum knee. But look, we've seen pro wrestlers with blown out knees, and they just slap on that brace and their career continues.
Yeah, God, every guy in the 80s, every one of those West Texas State guys all blew their knees out, threw knee pads on, and went to go. Lex Luger blew the knee out, put the knee pads on, ready to go. Brian Pillman, knee pads, fucked up. Or, knees fucked up, put the pads on, let's go. Vader, I think, pretty famously. Yeah, all those dudes. Every one of those 80s,
Stone
90s
Cold
guys.
Steve Austin.
Yeah, right. Same deal. Fuck the knee pad. Let's go put the knee pad on, let's go. Every single one of those guys blew their knees out. Their CFL career was over, so they fucking went to, or their USFL career was over, and they've gotten into wrestling.
Tegan Knox, both knees.
Yes.
Out there with the double break. But you have to acknowledge it, because he had to retire from his athletic career in his 20s because he had 3 serious knee injuries. So you acknowledge it. Look, the point here is he fits the profile of someone who will come out of that world and possibly be pretty good at this. Does it guarantee that he's going to be good? Of course not. But if you look at the people who have come from the sports world after their sports careers were over, right, and jumped in the pro wrestling when they were in their 30s, he fits the profile of all of the ones that ended up being pretty good, whether it's Kevin Green, whether it's, I always forget the guy's name in TNA. We just talked about it last week.
D'Angelo Williams.
D'Angelo Williams, who was
not Pac-Man Jones. Not Pac-Man Jones. D'Angelo Williams.
And we always, everybody wishes D'Angelo Williams would stick with it, but it was he fulfilled a dream. He had his match, and he's done with it. But anyone else you could think of, Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, Lawrence Taylor was fantastic in his first match.
And it's like he fits that same athletic profile. Well, so he has a chance to be really good. Plus, he clearly loves pro wrestling. He's a fan of it. Obviously, his promo was phenomenal. He understands pro wrestling because he's a fan of it, and he's employed by the company. So, look, there's a lot working in his favor. I think Adam Cole is good enough to get a guy like that through.
Oh, yeah.
At minimum, a passable match.
And we're not live either. You know what I mean? If they're probably recording that thing today, going through stuff. It's perfect. Yeah, it's a perfect time to bring a guy like this up here, because I think the baseline is going to be fine, but if you fuck something up, cool. We'll retape it. We're good.
You make a good point. They could easily tape it. Again, I don't think there's any guarantees. He can get in there and have 2 left feet. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I think there's a good chance he's going to be decent at this. So, we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic. About a month ago when all of this started, I thought this was the dumbest shit in the world, and I'm still not a huge fan necessarily, maybe of the angle.
No, it's a stupid angle, and they're not getting their own guy over, but I can't complain about that shit anymore. You know what I mean?
It's starting to win me over, though, because I think McAfee is going to be committed to it. I don't think he's taking it like a joke either.
No.
He probably wants to be good at it, and he took his promo seriously. He's taking the angle seriously. He's performed well. He is hateable. He's an excellent heel. He has that heel charisma, and I think
he did do the good job. I was mentioning earlier the babyface heel thing, but he did do a good job of doing the classic heel exaggerate thing where he says, "I'm a millionaire in 7 different businesses" or whatever. And I'm thinking I don't know, like football and then podcasting, I guess, like broadcasting. Like I was trying to think of 7. I got to like 3, 4 max. But that's, again, that's a good heel.
Yeah, we have someone in the chat room, Clifton Harris. He makes a good point. He says, if this were a sport, McAfee would have no chance against a man with hundreds of matches, a decorated champion, all that. He should at least pretend he's worried about Cole. And I don't disagree with that.
I don't disagree. You're preaching to the choir there, but that's just not how they push their stars.
But I also want to see how the match plays out.
Yeah.
Because if he has all of these bodyguards like he had during the angle, and he is sort of a chicken shit during the match, they still have time to go down that road.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I do think at that point the face-heel dynamic might finally come to the surface if he's totally a chicken shit during the match or taking a million shortcuts, and Cole is just dying to get his hands on him. Or,
right. But again, you're preaching to the choir though in terms of like WWE not presenting their stars as stars. Like I'm with you, dude. Like that goes well beyond this feud. That goes to every feud.
Could you have had McAfee cutting the promo behind a wall of bodyguards, maybe, or maybe you could have, maybe this guy's right. Maybe you could have at least, started the ball rolling on that during the promo.
Yes, right.
I don't know. It's a good point though, but. I'll give it a chance and see how the match plays out. If they just have him go in there and fight Adam Cole fair and square, I mean, yeah, that's probably not the right way to approach it for all the reasons that Clifton Harris says.
Yeah, no, but I'm at a point now where I just want like enjoyment out of this company. Like, you're hitting your head against a wall trying to get this company to make a star or push somebody. I just want to be entertained for 15 minutes in a match, and I am. I'm excited about this match. I'm ready for it, and I kind of have to do the thing where you shut your brain off and just say, all right, well, I don't know what this is going to do for Adam Cole, but I don't really care, to be honest. I'll probably fuck him up in 6 months anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, I mean,
it's defeatist, but here we are.
I'm going to watch the show. I hope it's good, and I hope it exceeds expectations. There's a chance look, I think it's reasonable to say that unless it's super gimmicky, that the floor is that it's a passable match.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
the people involved, and I think if it is super gimmicky and a lot of bells and whistles, then maybe it's because McAfee didn't take to it very well, and they felt like they had to hide some of his weaknesses by doing, a million, basically making it Undisputed Era versus McAfee and a team of trainees, that are allegedly his security. So we'll see. Kind of like the Floyd Mayweather thing with Big Show, where that really wasn't Floyd Mayweather versus Big Show. It was like Big Show versus a bunch of guys taking bumps for the Big Show.
Right.
And so, because it was, they had to hide the fact that Floyd Mayweather, who, he wasn't going to get in there and do a straight wrestling match with a 500-pound man and take bumps and everything else. So.
And then our main event, which, again, I think you and I both are in lockstep in our prediction here, but I think it's a little bit of a hot take because I think I've seen a lot of other predictions of people not make the same call, and it seems so fucking obvious to me. NXT Championship, Keith Lee versus Karrion Kross. You and I both think Karrion Kross is winning this title, right?
I mean,
he's in a mega push. This is like the once in a lifetime mega push that they're going with Karrion Kross right now.
How do you construct an argument that he's not going to win this?
He's going to win this thing in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to destroy him.
I think he wins the title. Keith Lee goes to the main roster, and Kross moves on to feud with Finn Balor. That's what I think they're going to do. I don't know about all of those moving parts all coming together, but I think he's winning the title for sure. I mean, it could end up being a long, drawn-out feud with Keith Lee. Maybe Keith Lee doesn't go to the main roster. Maybe Finn Balor loses to Timothy Thatcher. But I think at minimum, Kross is winning this title. I mean, he's getting the mega push of all mega pushes. I mean, we haven't seen a push this strong in a long time.
It's also, look who's pulling the strings here. Karrion Kross is everything Triple H wants in a pro wrestler, right? Like, come on. Don't overthink this. It's obvious. Look at the push. Look where it's going. And honestly, given the way the push has been done, he should win this title right now. Like, I'm not super entertained by him. I don't really love him, but the way they're pushing him, he should win the title. Because if he loses, it's like, all right, well, this guy dominates and beating everybody and all this sort of stuff, but I don't know. Can't do it when the big match comes. Like, he needs to win this match. He's going to win this match.
The TikTok guy and the fall and pray girl, I mean, it stinks. I hate it. Especially now that it's like there's these mystical, magical elements where...
The fire. Good God.
God, I mean, Keith Lee getting attacked by a clipboard, because the TikTok girl kissed it.
No, Fall and Pray girl. Yeah, Fall and Pray girl, yeah.
Yeah, the Fall and Pray girl kissed it, so now there's a fireball inside of the clipboard, and it's like,
God damn it.
Only the lowest Reddit mutant could possibly enjoy this. You have to be a Reddit mutant to enjoy this. But it's obvious that it's a mega push and they're going with it. And the NXT geek fan who is into this stuff, they eat it up. They like it. People are into this.
Oh, they love TikTok guy for sure.
So it's like, I feel like he's going to win. I feel like that's as close to a lock as we've seen, and I think the natural thing from there would be for Lee to move on. Lee belongs on the main roster. He belongs on the main roster unless they feel like – now Lee's another guy who does move numbers on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
And he holds up okay. And, they always get their ass kicked, so it's hard to say who's moving. But, if you really look at it closely, he's another one of the guys who does okay. So maybe they feel like it's more important to have him there to counter Dynamite. But, in just a logical – with the way that NXT used to work, I think this would be a good time to move him up. And we saw that he can get over. I mean, look at Survivor Series, and it's clear they like him. They gave him a big spot in Survivor Series. Didn't he get a decent spot in the Royal Rumble too? He did. He did. Yeah. He got shine in the Royal Rumble too. So it's like, they like him. He's done everything you can do in NXT. it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to get choked out in 4 minutes and then just disappear for a month and then pop up on SmackDown or something.
Yeah. I think that I don't think it hurts Lee, but I think it helps Cross. And it just like, like we said, I think he's going to win, and he should win. And given the way the push has gone, he should win. He should dominate. He should get in there and beat this guy. If you really want to push this guy like what I think they're pushing him, and he seems to have the rocket back on him, don't overthink this. He wins. He just wins. He taps the guy out. He does it in dominant fashion, and now you have the new dominant NXT champion and Keith Lee. Whatever's going to happen with Keith Lee is going to happen. But given his age and all that sort of stuff, it's why not move him onto the main roster? Why not get to that next level with him? Because there's no need for him to spend another year on NXT. Like, what is he doing? He's just sitting there fluttering for nothing. So hopefully it's the way it goes. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But I'm not into this at all. But I like that they're pushing somebody. I mean, I'm glad they're pushing somebody. That's cool. But
no, this is how you do a push.
Yes.
I mean, once they're getting that right, this is a fucking push. But the gimmick is cringe. I mean, I hated it from the first moment I saw it, and it's actually worse now. I mean, now that you're adding mystical, magical elements to it, this is Bray Wyatt shit. This is like the Fiend in NXT now. It's like I have no use for it. If the fucking TikTok girl, if the Fallen Prey girl has magical powers, why doesn't she just set Keith Lee on fire and kill him?
Exactly. Kiss him on the way down and set him on ablaze and win the match that way is a good. Yeah, it's not a bad strategy. But
once you destroy the world, I am not interested anymore. Like this, if she has these kind of powers, she could just kill the opponents.
Right.
Like,
Braun Strowman could lift a garbage truck above his head, but he has to, sell an RKO. It's just,
that's where you lose me. Like,
right.
Go watch Harry Potter if you want that shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is not supposed to be a world like that. And you can't, and if it is, then you have to make everything that. You have to be Lucha Underground, and you have to make the entire world that. You can't have half your world or part of your world be mystical and magical, and the other part of your world be Timothy Thatcher stretching people in a dungeon. You can't.
Right.
You can't have both. You have to pick a lane. That's my problem with this stuff, and it's a clash. Doesn't make sense. If he was doing this gimmick in Lucha Underground, I wouldn't be complaining about it. I just wouldn't be watching, but I wouldn't complain about it. It would be like, all right, well, it fits the world because Drago can fucking fly and all the other assorted bullshit. Fucking Jeff Cobb eats people. So what's the difference? It doesn't matter. But you can't have this lady with magical powers in a world where, fucking everybody else is just fucking exchanging fucking hammerlocks. It doesn't work. It's garbage. It's reductive junk. It sucks.
Don't tell the folks at Reddit. They're going to get very upset when you say that.
Please tell them. Please. Yeah. I love the free publicity we get there. When
they do a good job. They do a good job.
Just make sure you get the link right.
Yep.
Get
voicesofwrestling.com, voicesofwrestling.com/Patreon.
Get Patreon on there, and you can bury away.
Yeah, throw a link to the podcast if you can, too, just so people can listen to how stupid we are.
Yeah, just spell everything right. Make sure the URLs work. You can say whatever you want.
All right, let's move on to SummerSlam here. We'll start with the first match here, hair versus hair, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville. This is an interesting one, too, because of all the stuff that's kind of gone on this week. I do wonder, I'm sure WWE is not going to address it. There's no need for them to address it, but it does take on a little bit of a different meaning, I think, this match. I don't know. What do you think of this match and if the news this week, the kidnapping attempt and Sonya being with, Mandy and Sonya being together, but more than anything, just the kidnapping attempt on Sonya Deville. It just seems weird to kind of then go into a feud where one of them is going to get their hair cut off.
The details just get worse.
Oh my god, it's horrifying. Yeah,
this guy had rope and zip ties, and he actually got to her door. I mean, this is fucking horrendous.
Yeah, she saw him too, like that. Unbelievable.
It's gross.
Yeah,
it's just horrible. But yeah, they're gonna have their hair. Look, there's people that are into this feud, and if for nothing else, they are telling a long-term story here for once.
I think it's a good feud. I like it.
Yeah, see, I'm not into it, and I don't give a shit.
But it's A to B, you know what I mean? Like, it's A to B to
exactly.
C, so I can't complain too much.
This is one of the most well-booked stories that they're telling right now. So you have to give them credit for that. I think Bayley, we'll get to that. The Bayley-Sasha stuff was well done, too, and I don't like that either, but it's well done. But, it's like, so from that perspective, it's fine. I just can't work up any enthusiasm or care for Mandy Rose or Sonya Deville. I just don't give a shit, Rich. I don't care who gets their hair shaved. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just not interested in either one of these people.
I do love they've been doing like promos and stuff, and it's like Mandy Rose, like her hair is now like shoulder length, and she's like, I feel, violated and disgusting. Like, she's still like unbelievably gorgeous, and her hair is like slightly shorter, and she's like, "You've taken something from me." It's like, I don't know, man. You look great. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't, I think you look fine. But if you think you look like a hideous beast, then that's fine. But I think you look okay. So,
one of the top 1% hottest people on earth.
But her hair shoulder like it's shoulder length now, so she's a hideous beast. So. Yeah, yes. I tend to think Sonya's probably losing her hair here, but this is a pretty bad week. Maybe Mandy says, you know what, I'll go a little shorter on the hair. You can have your hair for another week or month or whatever, or you do Lucha style, and Sonya just gets a little bit of a cut. Yeah,
she gets the Aunt Pam haircut, right. or listen, this is WWE. Maybe nobody gets their head shaved.
That's true. We're assuming that they're going to pay off the stipulation, and that's
why are you assuming they're going to pay this off? Yeah, I mean, that's the other side of this.
Because they have done things where someone's lost a hair versus hair and then ran away, and they just never cut the hair.
Yeah, and then that's the end of it. Yeah, just run away. Yeah. So, but yeah, no. Do you think it'd be bad optics if because Sonya Deville's the heel?
Yeah.
Right. So she loses, and then well, wait, who's the heel? Yeah, Sonya Deville's the heel, right? It's another situation where
yes, I think.
So it's like, do you want her to get tied to a chair?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think if you had the plan that Sonya was going to lose at the beginning of this week or last week or whatever, I kind of feel like you have to, at least bring it up to Mandy. Hey, you mind going a little shorter on the hair? Because, the optics are just weird. And I know that they don't need to address it. They don't need to say, "Oh, Sonya Deville was just recently the victim of a kidnapping attempt." Like, I don't need, I don't need Tom Phillips to tell me that. But
nor should they.
No, it'd be ridiculous. And but yeah, the optics of all right, Sonya, you're gonna get tied to this chair and get your hair cut, and you're in, it's weird. And that's why I said, I don't know how you approach this match. After that, it's just it's strange. So.
Well, I mean, look, my first instinct is that they're just going to fuck it up and not pay it off anyway. I mean, because that's, and they deserve me saying that. Yeah. They've earned it.
All right, so next, we'll kind of put these matches in together here. SmackDown Women's Championship, Bayley versus Asuka. Raw Women's Championship, Sasha Banks versus Asuka. Joe, I think it's going to be 10 straight pay-per-views and TV shows that these people have faced each other. Some combination of Asuka versus Bayley and or Sasha Banks has happened 10 straight times. We've seen them on television, and we're going to see it twice more now here on Sunday at SummerSlam. So,
and normally I'd be excited about this, but they continually burn you with this. Each progressive match in this feud has a worse and worse finish. Yep. So how could I possibly be excited about this? I'm not, and they've driven me away from it, despite all of the great promo work that Bayley and Sasha do. And the matches are usually pretty damn good, and then you get the fucking garbage finish. And I've seen theories that maybe Asuka wins one of the titles. But not both.
That's where I'm going.
And then that causes friction between Bayley and Sasha, because the one that has the two belts, the other one is jealous of the one that still has all of the titles, and because eventually they're going to split. And do you think they drag this out till WrestleMania? Or do you think it's probably a WrestleMania match, right? I think it is.
I guess, yeah. How far? We're pretty far away. That's a long way. I mean, how many more times are we going to tell the same story with the? I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a good read on it. My the way I think, and I'm exactly like you. I want to be excited about a match between Bayley and Asuka because they're two tremendous pro wrestlers. I want to be excited about a match between Sasha Banks and Asuka because they're tremendous pro wrestlers. But because of the fuck finishes, because of all that sort of stuff, it's impossible to get excited. This entire match is going to happen, and all I'm be waiting for is when's the fuck finish coming? When's this fuck finish coming? What are we going to do for this fuck finish? That's all. That's where your mind's going to be, and that's where your brain's going to be, and that sucks. I want to just be excited about this, but you can't. So, just takes you away from that aspect of it. But no, I think. The way I honestly see it, I see Bayley retaining, and I think Sasha loses the title here. And I don't know that it's next month then you blow this off and all that sort of stuff. I think maybe you can keep it going a little bit longer. But I don't know how much longer you can go with them both winning the titles and both kind of being dominant.
Maybe they both lose, and they're just whiny about it for the next pay-per-view cycle. Complaining, whining. Asuka finally... gets the one-up on him for once, but the feud continues. Mm-hmm. If you're going to WrestleMania, you really got to stretch this out. And I don't know if you can start having the obvious conflict part of the relationship yet. I just don't know it'd be too soon for that. We have almost a year to go. I mean, what, 8 months or something? It's a long time and a lot of pay-per-views to get through. You know, you've got to stretch this out till at least Royal Rumble, because then you could have one eliminate the other or have it come down to them. Royal Rumble, you could really – that's where you need to start heating it up anyway and start building for the actual match. So if we look at it from that perspective, it's almost September. You really only have 3 more months.
That's true, yeah.
So you know, there's maybe you can start causing the friction now, and then you peak it at Royal Rumble. In Royal Rumble, you do the split, right? You do the split at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah, that seems perfect. Where Bayley tosses Sasha out or whatever. Yeah, that might be the perfect way to do it. Actually,
they're working together the whole match, and one tosses the other, whichever one that's going heel or staying heel rather. Which I would do. Well, I don't know which one I would do. I think you've got good arguments for both, but I think with Bayley, you know, kind of just less than a year into this heel run or whatever, maybe you keep her the heel, and maybe because they don't seem to like Bayley as a face. So I think it would be Sasha that goes face.
Yeah, and that's why I think that Bayley retains the title.
Probably the right move.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, so that's we got 2 matches out of the way there. That's nice. Oh, Joe, I know you're excited about this one. Dominic versus Seth Rollins, the street fight.
Look, a lot of people are into this Dominic. I don't give a flying fuck about anything Dominic. I don't care about Dominic.
Why do we care?
Why
would you give a shit about this fucking child of a wrestler?
Like,
who cares?
Oh, people are like, oh, he looks like he has so much potential. Does he? He looks awkward to me. I mean, he looks like shit, in my opinion.
Really
and look, I understand, like, he's new, he's still training, and maybe he'll be good someday. Right now, he looks terrible. Okay, I don't know where people are coming from with this. I could show you some wrestlers with potential. He is not one of them, in my eyes, at this point in time right now. He looks terrible. It looks like Seth Rollins is working with a non-wrestler. I really don't understand why people are enjoying this. Now, credit to Dominic for taking those
the canes,
Singapore cane shots. Great angle. Got the living shit beat out of him. His promos fucking stink. Oh my God, is this Dominic a horrible promo? Rich, it's so bad.
I just can't understand. This company employs literally hundreds of wrestlers. I would say conservatively 80% of them are probably better than Dominic, men that are under contract. 75, can we say 70?
All of them are.
I mean, maybe all of them. Yet Dominic is getting the fucking rocket strapped to him. I just don't get it.
75%. Rich, there's not a single wrestler under contract in this company who's not better than Dominic. He's awful. He's not good. He does like a high cross body off the top to the floor and gets caught by 4 people. And people go nuts like he's like the second coming of his father. Or they think he's like fucking, Juventud Guerrera. He stinks. He's shown me nothing. I mean, honestly, if this guy wasn't Rey Mysterio's son and has performed exactly the way he's performed now, would anyone be saying that he had potential?
No.
Of course not. They'd be saying, why is this clown on TV who can barely run the ropes? Why is this guy on TV? This is baffling to me. And I have no interest in anything involving Dominic. Nothing.
I don't understand why we're supposed to sympathize with him.
Why do I care? I don't care about Dominic. I never care about these angles where, like, family is involved. I never care about them. I want to see pro wrestlers have matches where they don't like each other and there's stakes. I don't care about your son. I have no interest in your dopey son. In your overgrown fucking son who's a foot taller than you. I have no interest. Okay? You want to send him to the little PC and so he can learn to run the ropes and be a wrestler like his daddy? Fine. I don't want to see him till he's a finished product. I have no interest in Dominic, fucking Ray's son, who's like isn't a wrestler. I don't care. Get him off my screen. This is a SummerSlam match.
I can't believe it. That's what I mean. Like
an untrained goof in there with Seth Rollins. I had no interest. God. Rich, I have no interest.
U.S. Championship match, Apollo Crews defending his title against MVP. He's definitely losing this. Cedric Alexander's definitely turning on him, right? Maybe the lights flicker. I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on. WWE Raw Tag Team Championship, the Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza. It's not enough that we have the Street Profits, a very good tag team. Andrade and Angel Garza, a very good tag team. We have opposing managers in Bianca Belair and Zelina Vega. It's not enough to say, we're going to defend our titles, and we're going to prove that we're better than you guys, and you can come for our titles, but you're not going to win them. And Andrade and Angel Garza go, no, we're better than you, so we're going to win your titles. No, we need to have somebody get poisoned, Joe. Somebody must be poisoned, and they have to go, oh, man, who poisoned? Oh, my God, who poisoned Montez Ford? Could be anybody on this roster. And then it obviously be Zelina Vega, which everybody saw a mile away. It's so dumb. This TV show is so stupid.
It's awful. And,
Nobody could like this. You are an idiot if you like this. I can't. I just like, what else do you watch? I just want to know. I just want to know what other shows you watch, what movies you see, what are your top 5 movies of all time, what music do you listen to? I just want to know this stuff.
There you have it, folks. You're an idiot if you like it.
Come on.
Rich Cage.
He was poisoned. The poison thing was so bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I just hope
because he was poisoned. Then he gets back in the ring and they're like, well, apparently he's okay. It's like, he couldn't move 10 seconds ago. Now he's fine. And then a week later, they're like, oh, he looks like 100%. So he's like, who cares? You poisoned the red cup. What are we doing?
It's junk.
It's so bad. Oh my God. Universal Championship match. Actually, fuck that. We're not doing the post show. I don't want to watch this shit. Oh my God. We must though. The problem, okay, so here's the thing where because if I don't watch it live on Sunday, there's zero chance I'm watching this. I'm never getting to it. I'll think about it. I'll say, I'll watch it Tuesday. I'm never going to watch it Tuesday. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Wednesday, I'll say, I'll watch it during the day Wednesday. I'm not going to watch it. And then Thursday's going to come and I'm going to have to either watch all of it while I'm like, driving home from work, or I just fucking watch it on Sunday with everybody else and enjoy the banter. So
your motivation here is watching it along with Twitter and in the Slack and enjoying it that way, because otherwise watching it by yourself on Tuesday night, right? You just, there's no motivation because you don't want to watch it. You just want to be part of the fucking banter. I get it. I totally get it, because look at this. Why would you want to watch this? So I understand. So Strowman and the Fiend are going to have another fucking cinematic classic. I mean, here's the thing about these cinematic matches, like, and here's why it's like even if you did like them in the beginning, why would you like them now? Because they don't matter. Like, didn't Strowman get eaten by an alligator?
He was literally eaten and dead, and then returned a week later.
But then he's just on Raw the next night. Yeah. So what does it matter? So that's another thing with these things. Nothing that happens in these cinematic things matters.
Right. AJ Styles died for 3 weeks. Yeah, he was fine. Who fell off the side of the... Was it Ray?
Ray.
Yeah, he's fine.
Somebody else did too, and they made the splat sound, remember?
Right.
So it's like nothing that happens in these matches matters because you're just on TV the next day anyway. So why get into them? I mean, you're just, go watch like I said, go watch fucking Harry Potter or whatever the fuck. Like, why do you need this out of your wrestling? It doesn't make sense. But we're going to get another fucking...
It's going to be terrible.
Yeah, it's going to be terrible. And we're going to waste 25 minutes talking about it on the post show and trying to figure out what the fuck, and who's our boy? Hopefully he'll break it down for us again.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to.
Joker McGee? What was his name? Joker McGee?
We'll go Joker McGee. It wasn't that. I remember the name, but somebody from Reddit said, please don't say the names of the people, so that's fine. Whatever.
It's an anonymous fucking username.
I don't care. You know what? Whatever. If that's their dumb rules, they can talk about all shit about us all day, and we don't care, so it's fine.
Hold on a second. It's an anonymous... It's not even like a person's real name. We can't say who a poster is on a public forum.
I know.
We can't name the poster's name.
Look, whatever. I don't care.
I'm going to think of that name and say it. Just to spite
you were close. You were very, very close. I will say that.
It's not Joker McGee?
It's not Joker McGee. You're close, though. It's Joker, and then it starts with a D. That'll give you that. So,
all right, well.
Maybe you can figure it out later. But
Joker Dopey is going to break it all down for us.
Joker Dopey. That's basically it.
Fucking tell us how brilliant it is.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine? I hope they're going to do stuff in the ring, too. They're going to do stuff with Thunderdome. Joe, I would bet my fucking house Braun Strowman's going to be in the middle of the ring in the Thunderdome. All the lights are going to go out, and the Fiend is going to appear on all the screens, and he's going to laugh.
Oh,
and they're going to say, mind games being played here by the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And he's going to go, ha, 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 ha. And then, and Joker Dopey's going to go, this is like the Fiend is in Braun Strowman's head. That's the symbolism here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
What a story. What an unbelievable story here.
Yeah.
As the ring fills with smoke. And...
I think the Fiend and Fall and Prey Girl should just light each other on fire and just both go away. Right? That would work. You know? It's just so dumb. I can't believe it. This is what I'm reduced. I never thought this is what it would come to.
Pro wrestling.
8 years ago when we started this, I didn't think this is what it would come to.
Oh my god, I'm going back and I'm watching, I'm looking at the descriptions because we're trying to get all the archives of our past shows up. We're gonna do it. We'll have an archive available to our Patreon subscribers very soon, hopefully. But I'm reading the show descriptions and I'm like, yeah, it's like Joe and Rich talk about the G1 climax, and Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, and and I'm like, god damn it, it just that's what wrestling used to be. And I'm listening, and you and I are complaining about the booking of Daniel Bryan. You're like, I don't care that they call him a GOAT. I just want to see him, wrestle and win matches. I'm like, little does this show know they're going to be talking about the Fiend facing Braun Strowman in a match where Braun Strowman got eaten by an alligator. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, really. And it's like, imagine, Kazuchika Okada was facing Dominic Naito at Wrestle Kingdom this year. Not Tetsuya Naito, but his son Dominic. Why? Who comes up with this shit, and why are these viable ideas to begin with? That's the absurdity of it. As absurd as that sounds, that's the shit that they hand you here. There's one more match, I think.
There is. WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre defending his title against Randall Orton. You think Orton wins here?
Best work of his career. God. I
wish I could do the bare minimum. People would say, Rich, you're doing an incredible job. And thank you. Yeah, thank you. I think I am too. So.
He's doing a nice little job, but geez, he
Drew
goes out.
McIntyre, you say you're... The promos, I love. Oh, great promo work by Randy Orton.
Same promo he's been doing
20 minutes,
for 15 years.
The legacy of this company, the legacy that I've created in this company. Oh my God, great work by Randy Orton.
Same fucking promo for 15 years.
Guys, come and go, and the legacy I've created here, I remain. Bullshit. Anyway,
I was hoping you would finish that off.
I don't know what he said.
It was really good. It was deadly accurate, and I wanted you to finish it off.
You think Orton wins here?
Listen.
I think Flair's turning on Drew.
I've said this many times during this preview, but I just don't give a fuck.
All right.
I couldn't care less. Really, could you drum up any enthusiasm for caring about who wins this match?
No, zero.
This is look, I don't even think Randy Orton's a bad choice to put at the top of the card because who else is there? So you just dust off the Randy Orton routine that he's been doing for the last decade and a half, and it's a better option than ever because you had a chance to build up Andrade. Yeah. You had a chance to build up Angel Garza. You had a chance to build up a million different guys. You never did it. So this is what you're left with. And, it's amazing. The guy can just go out there and do the same promos he's been doing for 15 years, and people think this is the greatest work he's ever done. The guy's had shitty matches with Edge. He's doing the same shitty promos he's been doing for 15 years, and people are raving like he's doing this groundbreaking, incredible work. It is baffling to me what people are watching and what they're seeing that I'm not seeing. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it. You just did the Randy Orton promo. It's the same promo he does every week, and it's the same promo he's been doing since 2005. What makes it so great now? Is it because the bar has been lowered on everything else, and everything else is such shit? Could that be it? The rest of the company's so bad that boring shit from 2008 is now looks great? I think that might be it. Drew's not exactly fucking, he's not exactly a mountain of charisma himself out there. Okay, let's not let him off the hook. So it's like, this is like a mid-card feud from 2011.
Yeah.
Is what this is.
Yeah, the best part about this, too, is I'm going through, obviously, with the boys, the summer series on voicewrestling.com/Patreon, and they're literally going, step by step to how, previous builds have been. Right down to Shawn Michaels getting assaulted on the Go Home show to build up the match. That's how they built up Brock Lesnar versus Triple H in 2013 or whatever, or 2012, I should say. Just exactly by the book. basic as fuck, storytelling. They just have nothing else. They have no other stories to tell. They just go right back to what they had 5 years ago. Yeah, he's got no ideas. He doesn't watch modern wrestling. Knows no clue what's going on in wrestling. Knows nothing else outside of that system. It's just, it's fucking garbage. So, all right, let's move on from this. There's nothing good. I don't know. What do you want me to talk about? What's good? What's good that you want me to talk about? Yeah.
I'm not arguing.
No, I'm saying what's next do you want me to talk about? Because nothing's good.
Oh, yeah.
You want these King of Pro Wrestling stipulations? What do you want?
Let's do New Japan and bury that now.
Let's do New Japan Cup USA where Kenta can't fucking beat Jeff Cobb and he needs a ref bump to do it. Perfect. Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I know. It's
even that show. I can't even have that show. There's been people I've texted with and I've said New Japan Strong and the people are saying, I'm kind of bored of everything going on. What's good? And I said New Japan Strong, New Japan USA. That stuff's been good. It's been clean. That person that I was texting with texted me immediately when the show was over and said they used a ref bump. And I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And what am I going to tell you? Yeah. I mean, it's Bullet Club, and that's just what they're going to – I mean, they didn't do it the week before.
Right.
But they had Kenta do it. Like, why does Kenta need the ref bump versus a guy like Jeff Cobb? I get it against someone at his level or above, but Cobb is just a mid-carder. Like, why did they need to do that?
Yeah, he's not a full-time roster guy either. He's not even
he's not even on the roster.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, what are you protecting Jeff Cobb for?
I don't know.
Why can't Kenta just fucking – whatever finish he's going to use, whether it's a submission finish or maybe he wants to get him up there for the go to sleep. It's a big man. Whatever. Just beat him. It's Jeff fucking Cobb. It's Jeff Cobb on like your D show. That's the other thing. Like, you know what I mean? This isn't like, it's the fucking G1. It's not fucking King of Pro Wrestling. It's fucking New Japan Strong in front of no fans, in another country. And you still can't beat this mid-carder who's not on the roster without a ref bump. It's frustrating, Rich.
I know. I thought we had one show, and now we don't even have that show anymore. So
he'll cheat to beat David Finlay.
Oh, for sure, 100%. Yeah, he's winning this cup, and he's going to cheat for sure.
He'll cheat to beat David Finlay too. It's just, it's. And when the New Japan main events are full of that stuff and everything, it makes it feel like the whole company is just poisoned with this. It's always there and it's always been there, but it's more prominent at certain times than others. And this is one of those times where you just can't escape this stuff in New Japan, and it's a shame. But ACH looked real good last week. I don't know if you watched that.
Yeah,
match.
I watched everything. Yeah, so we'll run down the card here real quick. So New Japan Cup USA, 2 matches here. David Finlay defeats Tama Tonga. Kenta defeats Jeff Cobb, as we said. Good. I like the match a lot. It just kind of sucked that the finish had to be the way it was. But yeah, the match that really stood out to me, and one that you absolutely should go out of your way to check out if you have not, Blake Christian, Mysterioso, PJ Black, they defeat the team of ACH, Alex Zane, and TJP. I thought all 6 men looked incredible here. ACH looked unbelievable. Blake Christian, this was the best I've seen of him. Mysterioso, I was most impressed by him this night. TJP was just perfect as he almost always is in the ring. I thought Alex Zane was good. I thought PJ Black was, this match ruled. This was awesome.
Yeah, really good match. Really good 6-man match.
So you can have wrestling. Like, people, there's no fans. You can't really have. Like, no, you can. You can have a good wrestling match. The guys can just get in the ring and do shit, and it can be good.
Yeah, and ACH looked incredible, and he worked this completely different than the way he worked the Game Changer shows the previous weekend, where the Game Changer shows he's kind of doing this heel thing on the American Indies, and he's like the heel veteran, and he's slowing it down.
Yeah, he was super ACH here again, for sure.
Here he was super ACH. Yeah, he's in New Japan, and he's doing what New Japan is asking him to do, which is be super ACH, and that's what he was, and he looked great. And he's just evolving so much as a performer, where he can be different things in different places, and and I always appreciate that. And he just athletically and with his timing, he just looks so great. That one sequence where he just cleaned house and then finished it off with the dive. He did 2 dives in the one sequence and then finished it off with the dive. He looks so good. So I really hope that New Japan is his eventual landing spot, because I think that's would be perfect for him, and would keep him in the major league scene and all that. And he seemed to enjoy himself in Japan when he was there. We talked about that last week. So that was a real encouraging match. Blake Christian, again, just exactly how we laid it out.
Yeah, he was so much better than he's been anywhere else, because he was able to kind of be grounded a little bit. He didn't go too nuts, but he was able to show off the stuff he needed to, but did it all in a way that just didn't seem like a guy just out there doing flips to do flips.
In the context of a match where he had a role to play. with some structure. And that's so important. It's what we talked about last week. And I think they've got some pieces here that they're developing. This Mysterioso looks like a keeper. And Alex Zane is a guy they clearly like. And we've talked about TJP a million times. I mean, he's a Swiss Army knife. You'd be nuts not to want him on your roster.
Oh, he was so good in this match. He was just he could play whatever role you want him perfectly and fit into any match you need perfectly. It's amazing. If he wasn't such a chud on Twitter, this guy would be
and that stuff I don't even care about. Just I'm hiring you to wrestle. Just get in and wrestle,
right? And maybe delete the Twitter account because you do yourself no favors. He does himself no favors there. That does himself no favors.
It's like at the same time, it's like it doesn't even really matter to me though. Like I just want to watch people wrestle. Unless you're a complete fucking, it's like just don't follow him then. What do I care what he says on Twitter? What do I care if he wants to get? He's a guy who likes to argue. Mm-hmm. Is what it comes down to. And he likes to be a contrarian. Like you did. You just fucking unfollowed him. We don't even see his tweets anymore. That's all. You can eliminate that from your life very easily. It's just a dumb app. But as far as wrestling goes, I mean, the guy, they'd be nuts to not want him around. It's crazy. He can work with anyone and does a great job with these young wrestlers and everything. So, yeah, that match ruled, and, we got Barrett Brown back in the mix in the opener. Teaming with one of the Regal twins. I don't know where the other one was.
Logan was here. I'm not sure where the other one went. But
and they had Clark Connors and Jordan Clearwater, which was another new guy who I know nothing about. But that was a decent little match. And I was surprised that the Clark Connors side, maybe I shouldn't have been. I mean, those dojo guys are going to keep losing as long as they got the black tights on, right? But for whatever reason, I thought maybe Connors would win one, since he was in there with guys that could easily be beaten.
Right. You can beat Logan Regal, and it doesn't matter. But, yeah, that's his role, so.
That's just Shibata's going to keep beating these guys until.
I love it, though. It's perfect. I like it.
It's structure and booking tiers. We talk about this all the time. On one hand, they could be boring, right? Because you could predict 90% of the outcomes. On the other hand, they rule. Because then when it comes time to elevate someone, it's easy to do so. They just have to beat someone above their level. And then you're surprised by it as a viewer, and it's a lot of fun. And so there's positives and negatives, but I've always been someone who prefers structured, tiered, booking with booking tiers to whatever the fuck it is that WWE does, where it's just everyone's on a hamster wheel. And none of the wins ever matter because everyone's on the same level. I'd rather have it be predictable, and then when it comes time for those big elevations or upsets, they're meaningful. Like Fredericks beating Cobb in the tag match on the opening, whatever this show was called before Strong. That was a clear collision when it was called New Japan Collision.
Mm-hmm. Lions break collision, yeah.
Lions break collision, and Carl Fredericks, out of the black tights, wins a tag match. You took notice. And we ended up talking about him for like 3 weeks. Yep. When's the last time someone in WWE won a match and we talked about it for 3 weeks? Right. So that's why I preferred tiered booking structures.
All right, so that was the New Japan USA, New Japan Strong. This week on the show, August 21st, we have Kenta versus David Finlay will be the main event, the New Japan Cup USA Finals. I don't know, Jay White's on the show too, I think, right? Isn't this the one that Jay White's on? Yeah, I don't have the full card in front of me, but it looks like a pretty interesting one. Again, it'll be nice to see Jay White again, finally. So,
yeah, let me see, because we have a couple more New Japan topics. I'll see if I can pull up that card while you.
Yeah, I thought I had it, and then now I can't find it, so I'm not. I don't know.
I'll grab it.
Yeah. All right. All right. We gotta talk about these, Joe. We finally got it. The full card for the August 26th Summer Struggle show on New Japan World. We have our first of the KOPW stipulations. Some other matches on the card, though, real quick before we go over the stipulations. Yoshihashi, Tomohiro Ishii, and Hiroki Goto versus Gabriel Kidd, Yuya Uemura, and Yota Tsuji. I think Gabriel Kidd is now off that show. I forget. He has a neck injury, so I don't know who's replacing him as of right now. That I think happened while we were putting our notes together. So there's that. Master Wato, Tenzan, Ibushi, Tanahashi versus Dookie, Kanemaru, Zack Sabre Jr., and Taichi. So that's the non-KOPW matches. And then, Joe, are you ready for the KOPW?
Let's do it.
Okay. we're gonna get grumpy again. So we're prepared. I'll prepare to be the not, oh, you hate fun assholes. I just like fucking pro wrestling. I just like guys getting in the ring and proving they're better than the other guy. I'm sorry. I won't apologize for liking pro wrestling, but you have to do that a lot these days. Satoshi Kojima versus El Desperado. This will either be a finisher only match or a no finisher match.
Okay, I don't have a lot of complaints about this one. Like, the two very opposite stipulations for the fans to vote on, but some of these get real silly. I don't have a ton to say about this one. Do you hate this one?
I want to see how it is in practice. If you can only do your finisher, and that's because some people are reading it as, oh, the match can just end by your finisher, and some people are saying your match has to end via something else. Okay, I read it that Kojima's just throwing lariats left and right until the match is over.
Oh, no. I read it as you can only win the match. Like if the one that says finishers only wins, I think you can only win the match using your finisher.
Okay.
And I think if the other stipulation wins, you are not allowed to win your match using your finisher. In other words, Kojima can't use the Western Lariat.
Yes.
He'd have to win it with something else.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
The problem with this is what is going to be classified as the finisher for Desperado.
Yeah.
What's
I don't know.
The finisher?
Well, that's what I hate about this. And even to its core of why I hate this one, even though it's probably one of the better of the stipulations, is in the actual context of a pro wrestling match, yes, you have your signature moves, your finishing moves or whatever, but ideally, like, you don't say, this is my finisher move, this is what I'm going to use today to defeat you. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how it's actually supposed to be structured. You should try to do whatever you can to finish. And if it is the move that you're kind of known for, then great, that's good. But, like, it doesn't always have to be that move or whatever. But that's not what we're doing here. Like, the guy has to come in and say, this is my move. This is the move I will hit you to win the match. Like,
well, he has a lot. The thing with Desperado is he uses a lot of different moves to finish.
Right, I know. So I guess he's at the beginning of the match has to say, this is the move.
Well, then why would Kojima just say, all right, well, then I can't win with a body slam?
You're right. I know. Dude.
And this is one of the ones that isn't.
I'm backing away. I know.
Are we being too hard on just this silly little tournament?
No, I don't think I am. I don't think I am because, yeah, it's a silly little tournament. It's nothing. Yeah, who cares? Whatever. I don't want any of this seeping in. I don't want Dollar Store DDT. I'll just go watch DDT if I want Dollar Store DDT.
Right.
I'll go with the established company that has done comedy wrestling better than anybody has over the last 20 years or whatever, that does it better than everybody, that perfected the art of it. I'll go watch that. And the thing that I have with, the problem too is when you do this and you inject comedy and ha 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 and ah ha ha, not wink wink nudge nudge, is that it's way harder than to snap into, okay, now it's real, now this is a real match. Okay, now focus on this match.
Is this even supposed to be comedy?
I'm not laughing.
I think some of them will end up being comedy. We're being told that the Pinche Loco is officially the finisher that's been named as the one that he either has to win with or will not be allowed to win with.
I mean, of all the matches, this one I'm probably being a little more harsh on. This one I don't hate too much.
Who proposed each? Did Kojima say...
Kojima was the finishers only, I believe, and then Desperado was the no finishers.
So Kojima wants to use that Western
Lariat. He wants to fucking take his head off and win, so...
Right. Well, as a fan, why wouldn't you just vote for the babyface stipulations? Why would you want the heels? I don't know.
Oh, my God. Next, Toru Yano and Bushi. Oh, God. Just the Toru Yano versus Bushi match alone is going to make me groan. But now we have...
Yeah, I don't want to watch this under any circumstances.
Right. I wouldn't watch this if it was on a normal show. But this is going to be a 2-count pinfall match or a 5-count ring-out match.
Okay, who proposed what?
I believe Toru Yano proposed the 2-count pinfall match, and that Bushi...
Why would he want that if he's like a heavyweight?
Let me make sure that that's actually the correct thing. I want to make sure I have these.
Wouldn't it make more sense for the 5? Because he always tries to win by count out. Wouldn't it make more sense for the 5-count ring out for Yano? And wouldn't it make more sense for Bushi as a junior to want the 2-count?
It would, but no, I'm right. Yeah, it's Yano that's doing the 2-count.
Okay, so this is so fucking stupid. It's backwards. Why would Bushi propose a stipulation that works into Toru Yano's the master.
The bell can ring. Toru Yano can tie him up to the ring corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, done, and he wins.
The guy's whole gimmick is that he wins by count out a lot.
Right.
So why would you make it easier for him to win by count out?
T-shirt dork. Who knows?
Rich, this stinks.
It's fucking garbage. It's trash. I do enjoy this though. Sho proposes a submission match, and Sonata goes, "That's fine."
What the fuck? You're not even like Sonata is so low energy.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's cool.
I'm so confused.
Like, get excited, Joe. Get hyped because Sonata is bringing to the table whatever the other guy picks. Whatever, I don't care.
Well, didn't Sho propose submission match, and then Sonata proposed no pinfalls? Isn't that what it is?
I think so, yeah.
So it's essentially the same thing.
Right. Well, on their actual website, it just says that. It just says submission match. That one's already said. It said Sonata, for his part, has taken this challenge in stride. Cold Skull appears to be certainly for Sho's wavelength, only offering up a make your opponent give up as his rule suggestion. So, okay, so there you go. So Sho says, I want a submission match. And Sonata says, how about a match where you have to make your opponent give up? And
they can't even
probably like, yeah, I think that's the same thing there, pal. So.
They can't even get this right.
Get excited, Joe. Get hyped for this. Like, people are, you're being too hard on it. This stinks. This sucks. Come on.
God.
Garbage.
They can't even get this right.
Garbage.
Like, here's the problem. You know what the problem with this is?
It sucks.
It's a shoot, and they let these guys really pick the steps. That's the problem. And these guys are too dumb to get the stipulations right. Like, I don't think the company picked the steps. I think they let these guys pick the steps as a shoot. And, of course, it's going to go haywire because Sonata, not only does he not understand what's happening, he doesn't care. So he just said, all right, I'll do it. Like, he doesn't understand. He's confused. He's a wrestler. He doesn't care. He shows up to the building and does what he's told. Do you think he goes home and thinks about this? Like,
hell no. They probably said, hey, you need to give us your match. And he goes, I didn't think of it. So
he probably said, well, what'd the other guy pick?
Yeah, submission match. Yeah, that's cool.
Or they probably tried to explain to him how this works and he didn't get it. And they were just like, whatever. Just, we're going to do 2 submission matches. Because he doesn't care.
No.
He's supposed to show up and get paid. Why did they? I'm telling you, that's what happened here.
Absolutely.
They just let these guys pick themselves. Same thing with Kojima. I bet you Despy picked no finisher, and Kojima was like on the phone with Gato and was like, dude, I don't fucking care. What'd the other guy pick? No finisher. All right, I'm picking finishers. Let me go eat my fucking bread. These guys don't give a shit. Especially these veterans. They're all bad.
They're all bad. Main event time, Okada versus Yujiro Takahashi. Okada is a 1 versus 3 handicap match, and Yujiro Takahashi is a lumberjack with a leather belt match.
Why wouldn't Yujiro pick the 1-on-3? And why wouldn't Okada?
So I'm saying, you asked me if we're too hard on it. I don't think we're hard enough, Joe. This shit's garbage.
Why wouldn't Okada want to get his hands on that leather belt to beat these guys who have been torturing him and feuding with him for the last 4 months or whatever it is? And why wouldn't Yujiro want the 3-on-1 advantage? Why is Okada intentionally putting himself in a
I think he wants to prove that he can beat all these guys at the same time, type thing.
Yeah, but it's still dumb.
I agree.
This is WWE bullshit. That's what this is. It's junk.
You want to vote now on all these?
You want me to pick?
Yes, let's do it. Okay, so Okada versus Yujiro. Do you want the 1 versus 3 handicap match or the lumberjack with leather belt death match? C, neither is not an option. So
I abstain.
I'm gonna go with the 1-on-3 handicap match. That is losing right now. The lumberjack with leather belt death match is winning because that is a better match. So I'm just gonna pick the worst ones because. You can't vote on Sho versus Sonata. Sonata can't be bothered to.
I got another detail here, which is going to anger me even more.
Oh no!
So in the chat room, according to J. Michael Mastro, Despy proposed finishers only.
Okay.
And Kojima just kept agreeing. So Despy
he also didn't get it. They had to say no. You have to say a different thing, and he's like, that's fine with me. I don't care.
I'm telling you, these people just don't get it.
Yeah.
So Despy proposed
the drag of his cigarette and goes, I don't fucking care, to be honest.
Yeah. So Despy proposed the opposite in response so it would work. So, like, Despy understands, but, like, it's exactly what I said, and I didn't even know. Kojima was just like, I don't care, let's do a submission match. But then, Despy finally, to just make the thing work, decided to propose the opposite because Kojima didn't get it. So Despy's stip ended up being Kojima's stip because Kojima just agreed. So then Despy picked something else just to balance it out. So now Despy picked a stip that he didn't wanted the opposite of in the first place.
Get excited.
Just so they can have things to vote for.
Get excited.
What a fucking joke this is.
Yeah.
Why didn't Gato just pick them all?
I know. I can't believe they didn't, but... All right. Yano versus Bushi. We got the 5-count ring out match or the 2-count pinfall match.
I want option C, like Austin Aries.
God damn it. All right. Let's do the 2-count pinfall match. Well, no.
Let me propose it. My option C. You didn't even let me say what it was.
No, what do you got? Go ahead.
I want a 5-count ring out match, but if both of them get counted out at 5, they both have to leave the company forever.
Never come back. Yeah.
No more Yano, no more Bushi. Just get rid of them both. I want, if you get counted, if you lose, it's a loser leave town. You lose by count out, you're out. And if it's a double count out, you're both out. And I never have to watch either one of you wrestle ever again. That's what I want.
Or have I can't wait for the annual G1. Toru Yano just had the best G1 match of the entire year conversation that will come up in a few weeks. I'm always always excited about those ones.
And
those
it's always an absolute brainiac that comes up with that one.
Yeah.
It's always someone who's real smart and understands. That comes up with that.
Imagine not thinking Toru Yano just had the best G1 match of the entire year.
Yeah, it wasn't hard to imagine, buddy, and now you're blocked because you're fucking stupid. Yeah. What's the next step?
Well, here I got to vote on this one. I'll do the 5-count ring out match. So that is losing as well. I'm choosing the losing ones here. 2-count pinfall is winning there, and then finally the strongest arm versus Desperados. Do you want finishers only or no finishers?
I can't even get into the bit.
I know. I'm trying. Let's go with Kojima because I just want to support my man Kojima. So he's losing too. All right, we picked every wrong one. Everyone we picked is losing, so who cares? So there you go. No finisher match is winning. So all the ones that we picked are going to lose, and
all the heels are winning their stipulations.
Yes, yeah.
Perfect. Working out just great for you.
Nice job, guys.
Good job. Good job. Good effort.
Oh dear God! All right, I don't know what
Okada,
are we talking.
And this is like Okada. That he should never be a booker ever in the history of
his
his
life.
life.
This is his idea, then he is never allowed to have a pencil ever again. Like even to write, even to do anything. Like I'm just never giving him any writing utensils ever again because this is.
Do you have any faith that the matches are going to be good?
Hell no. Maybe Sho Sonata. Maybe Sho Sonata.
I think Kojima Despy might be good.
That's true.
What about the 4-way final? Do you think that could be good?
No.
A New Japan 4-way?
Because it's going to involve Toru Yano and yeah, it's going to involve Toru Yano, and that's all that I really need to say. So, or it'll involve Bushi with his fucking t-shirt on. So,
you know what's going to happen? Remember all those junior tag 3 and 4 ways from like 5 years ago, which were perfectly fine matches. They were just redundant, right? Remember they'd have them. They'd open up like every show. Every major show.
Yeah.
Like they do a 3 or 4-way junior tag with like the Young Bucks and Red Dragon and whoever Rocky Romero was teaming with that month, whether it was Kozlov or Beretta, and they'd have these, and everyone would complain about these perfectly fine 3.5-star matches that would open up these shows. This thing will end with a 4-way match, which is utter shit. And there will be people who will claim it's great and that New Japan should do more of them. It just goes to show people are phonies. It's all who's involved. Do you know what I mean? Like, and maybe I'm complaining about something that hasn't happened yet, but can't you see like Toru Yano and like
it's gonna be Desperado, Toru Yano, Sonata, and Okada
having this awful 4-way because they don't know how to do it because they've never done it before, and there'll be some comedy and people will claim it's great. And when a couple years ago they were saying that New Japan was doing too many 4 and 3. This isn't America. But there'll probably be that same segment of people who enjoy this. But we'll see. I think this thing all looks like it's going to be pretty bad. But like everything else, I give it a fair chance. and we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely not optimistic.
All right, so that's New Japan. I don't know, where do we go next? Do we talk about all these shows getting canceled, or do we talk about the indie wrestling weekend?
Well, while we're burying things, I think we should talk about the indie wrestling weekend. Because
all right, there's a huge indie wrestling weekend this weekend, Joe. We got Game Changer Wrestling Tournament of Survival 5. We have Game Changer Wrestling is doing the Jimmy Lloyd's Jersey Shore. We have Beyond Wrestling doing wear sunscreen, because they'll also be on the Jersey Shore, and it's on a beach in the sun, so you have to wear sunscreen. Then we have an idea stolen from us, from this very show, tweeted out in December 2019, with the caveat saying, please steal this idea if you'd like. So that's fair. I did take this, I did offer someone to steal this. But Joe, the irony show to end all irony shows, Black Label Pro, Eric Stevens presents professional wrestling.
This is where we are now.
The joke is now that it's a good show.
The joke show, the gimmick show, is a straight pro wrestling show. That's where we are with indie wrestling now. That's the gimmick. Like
the wink, wink, nudge, nudge is that this is going to be a show with good wrestlers on it.
Yes, the outlier, the gimmicky thing to do, is to just try to put together the best possible wrestling matches you can put together. That's like that's the hook. That's the abnormality. You're never going to believe what we're doing. We're putting together matches that look good. Can you believe it? We're not trying to be ironic. We've come full circle. We're being so ironic that it isn't ironic anymore. This is where we are with American indie wrestling, which we've been trying to tell you fucking stinks and has stunk for like 2 years now. It stinks so bad that an attempt to put together a regular old wrestling show is the gimmick. What are we doing here? How did we get here? How did we get here, Rich?
It's so ridiculous. Oh my God, I have no idea what to say. So here's the original tweet that we made as well, just for reference here. October 2019, actually, I should say, not even December. I said, here's an idea for WrestleMania Weekend 2020, a wrestling show that takes place in a ring and features men and women facing one another in professional wrestling matches to determine who is better. Feel free to steal this idea and run with it if you would like. So,
yeah,
they did. So.
Because this WrestleMania weekend, which didn't happen, looked atrocious. I mean, it looked god-awful. It looked even worse than the year before.
Yeah, that guy got canceled. Let's be honest. No, I'm just kidding. But kind of.
I mean, fucking Alley Bat and all of that bullshit, and fucking Warhorse versus Three Wolves, and fucking all kinds of. It was. I think people forget how bad WrestleMania weekend was shaping up to be, and that's why you made that tweet. It's like it would be fucking. What would be ironic now would just be wrestling matches.
Right. Joe and Rich present wrestling matches.
Yeah. And it's like, now that's literally happening. It's really happening. That there's a real, honest-to-God indie show where the gimmick is Eric Stevens presents professional wrestling. Just wrestling matches. And that's the gimmick. That's where
That's the joke. The joke is that it's going to be a wrestling show.
Yeah. And I mean, it looks like a decent show.
Solid show.
By the standards of 2020, okay, we've got to put that asterisk on there. By the standards of 2020, it looks like a decent show. If this were like 2016, this would be like a third-tier show. Let's be completely honest. But listen, you have to work with what you're given. It blows away the other three shows we're going to talk about. It's not even close. I mean, it's not even close how much better it is than the other three shows this weekend. But it's just this is what it's come to. And there are people who will argue with us and tell us that the indie scene is good. I don't know, man. Not the high-profile stuff.
So I have some of the matches here. We'll talk about them. We have a very good professional wrestler, FKA Dasher Hatfield.
Yes.
Oh, my God. We'll be facing Warhorse.
Yeah.
On the show. Lee Moriarty versus Josh Alexander. That sounds awesome. Into that. Anthony Henry versus Ben Carter. That sounds pretty cool as well.
Yep. It's a decent show.
Yeah, Bastard Cassidy versus Filthy Tom Lawler. Into that one as well. Eric Royal versus AJ Gray. That's a good match. Isaiah Velasquez versus Alex Shelley. I'm in. Violence is Forever versus Alexander Blake Christian. We'll see. And then the main event, Calvin Tankman versus Eric Stevens, which I'm sure will also be pretty damn solid. So,
yeah, look, this is about as good as you're going to do in 2020. So, but it's just a shame that you have to do it as a gimmick to get to achieve it.
Mm-hmm.
But this really is about, look, there's maybe a couple of names that you could have had on here that you don't for whatever reason. I mean, not everybody's available. Maybe someone's got a booking somewhere else or whatever the case may be. Maybe you want to get a Tony Deppen on there. You want to get a Jake something on there. You want to get a...
Well, what's perplexing is Jake something is on the gimmicky show before, but he's not on this show, which, I mean...
Right,
I don't know if Eric knows what good wrestling is, because Jake something's pretty damn good, so...
You want to get an ACH or an Alex Zane on there. So there's other guys, but it's like, I get it. It's not like...
Zane, for the record, people are going to correct you. Zane is on there. He's with Blake Christian against Violence is Forever. Yeah, I don't want someone to start, guys got it wrong.
I'm just naming names.
I know.
So I
know.
But it's like, I'm saying, like, you can't just have your pick. Like, people are busy doing other shit or don't want to take the booking or can't take the booking. But that's about as good as you're going to do a show like this. It's just a shame that it's considered a gimmick. Yeah. It's so weird to me. And they are running a double header. Like, that's the morning show and then at night. So how much do you feel if you're in town, you're booked on the second show, and you didn't get booked for the first one, which is just straight up professional wrestling.
Good pro wrestling.
With good wrestlers. Isn't that the promotion telling you that you're not a good pro wrestler and that you're nothing but, like, it's kind of weird, right? Like, but at the same time, I guess you couldn't get everyone on the first show, but it's like, it's kind of a statement at the same time. Like, all right, well, you can't work the show with the good wrestling. We're relegating you to the show with the bullshit. So we have the other BLP show that day, which is Kylie Ray against Blake Christian. Kylie Ray is the champion of this promotion. Jake something versus Chris Masters, who they've dug up. Effie versus Gangrel. Ethan Page and Danhausen versus the besties in the world. Trey Lamar versus Trey Miguel. Josh Bishop versus Gary J. Gnarls Garvin versus Levi Everett. I don't get the Levi Everett thing. Dan the Dad versus the Man Scout versus Colin Delaney versus Cabana Man Dan, which sounds like one of the worst matches.
Oh, no.
Now, honestly,
every day was another stab in the fucking heart. Oh, my God.
Honestly, that show isn't that bad either.
It's really not, yeah.
There's just some stuff on there like, look, the four-way comedy match is going to be atrocious. I mean, Jake Manning's going to take out that tent. I mean, was there anything worse in New York at WrestleMania weekend than Jake Manning taking out that tent at 11 o'clock in the morning on, like, pancakes and pile drivers? It's like I had to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning to come into the fucking city to watch Jake Manning put a tent out and do terrible tent spots that no one in the building thinks is funny. Not one person in the building was laughing at those tent spots.
Oh,
God, it's atrocious. And that Cabana Man Dan is a decent wrestler.
He is, yeah. A lot of those guys are, yeah. Who are all the names again?
Dan the Dad.
Okay. He's solid, but,
Used to be, but he's
now
he's doing spots where he puts you over his knee and spanks.
Spanks you. God damn it. But we're the no fun ones for just wanting pro wrestling. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, listen. Look,
we're right, by the way. But we'll be proven right eventually. But that's fine.
Of course, we're right. The Black Label Pro shows aren't bad. The following show is one of the worst indie lineups I've seen in my life, and I'm not even being facetious. This Beyond Wrestling sunscreen show. Are you ready for this, Rich?
I'm ready. Let's go.
We got Joey Janela versus Kimberly.
Ugh.
You're going to notice a trend here.
Oh, no.
Chris Dickinson versus Priscilla Kelly.
So the YouTube views have not been good, is what I'm getting at here. Is that the case here? We need some revenue.
Who on earth wants to see Chris Dickinson wrestle Priscilla Kelly? I mean, really. Why is that appealing to anyone?
They're both very good pro wrestlers too, but can all be useful. Well,
one of them.
She's fine.
She's fine. But why would anyone want to see that?
Right.
Myron Myron Reed and Jordan
Oh
Oliver.
God, I
versus
just saw one of the matches. Oh dear God, it took me aback at how bad it was.
Myron Reed and Jordan Oliver versus Christian Casanova and Tasha Steelz. Slade versus the Alley Cat. I mean, why? Willow Nightingale versus Max Caster and his band of fucking buffoons that he brings with him.
I like Max Caster actually, but
versus Willow Nightingale.
Yeah, it's not the way I would book him.
We
Max
have
Caster
intergender.
versus Chris Dickinson sounds a lot better to me, but you know, you do you.
Bear Country versus Pretty Pooper. It's just, I don't even know who that is. Lady Frost and
It's pretty
Victor
proper. I think you may have did a Freudian slip there. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty proper.
Yes. It's something called Victor Benjamin and Lady Frost. I don't know what that is.
I don't know who they are. Maybe they're fucking. Maybe it's fucking Toshiaki Kawada and Akira Hokuto. I don't know, but I'm guessing it's not. Okay, Rich. If
You're
this,
missing Joe. You're missing one of the matches. This is the one I thought you were gonna say.
That's all I have. What do you?
Oh my God, I got another one. This is the one that took me aback. I was startled when I saw this.
Lay it on.
So you've already called what appears to be one of the worst indie shows I've ever seen in my life. It just sounds deplorable. Sounds deplorable.
If this show
with
was
talented
in my
people too. There's a difference between a shitty indie show where you go and it's just like a bunch of fat dudes that don't know what they're doing. When you have like talented, like Chris Dickinson is one of the better wrestlers in the world,
and you're putting him in there with Priscilla Kelly.
Yeah, he's on a show where he is going to be in All right.
I mean, what are we doing here? If this show was in the backyard, I'd draw the blinds.
You ready for this match?
And then call the cops and remove these vagrants from my property. What's the match I'm missing?
Okay, it is another intergender match.
Yeah.
It's Solo Darling versus Pinky Sanchez.
Oh, come on. No, it's not. You're making that up.
God.
You're making that up.
I got taken aback. I went to Beyond's Twitter page, and I saw the image of fucking Pinky Sanchez staring at me. You heard me, like, on the air. I went, God, like, it was...
That can't be a real match.
It's a real match.
Nah, it ain't. You're making it up to troll me.
Nope.
You're trolling me, Rich.
Nope.
It's one of the worst matches I've ever heard of. It's terrible. It's awful. Oh my
God. Well, GCW's got some fun stuff this weekend, though.
I don't...
It's not great, but it's fine. The baseline of GCW is usually pretty solid, so...
What, the...
Tournament
Lloyd
Survival,
Jersey
not the Jimmy Lloyd's Jersey Shore.
Here's the thing with Game Changer Wrestling. I don't care what the lineups look like anymore because the shows are always bad. Like, what does it matter how good the lineups look if the shows never fucking deliver? It's a trash promotion with bad matches. Can someone just say it already? It's bad. It's never good. Game Changer shows are never good. They're just not. So you can ignore the lineups because then it's just it's just slop. It's always just sloppy bullshit. So I'm sick and tired of Game Changer and being nice about it. Okay? They've done good business. They do good things. They're the top indie in the country. I praise them for their business model and everything they've done. Their shows fucking stink. And I'm tired of pretending they don't. How about that,
At
Rich?
the first hour, you were saying, oh, you're upset, Rich. I'm not upset. There you go. Deep breaths, Joe. Deep breaths.
See, fuck it, because they stink. The matches, the shows always stink. And this is where we are with indie wrestling. A good wrestling show with good matches is the outlier. It's the anomaly. It's the fucking, it's a gimmick. And we have to pretend that Game Changer is good. This is where we're at. It's all fucking trash. Throw it all in the trash. Let's move on. I can't even do this topic anymore.
Yeah, there's nothing else to talk about. All right, so a lot of people are canceling shows. Stardom has to cancel the rest of the month now. Initially, it was just a show last weekend. They have now decided to cancel the rest of the month. So the Princess Cup, or not the Princess Cup, the 5-star GP is on delay right now. Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, Princess Cup semifinals, those were canceled. The Wave promotion has canceled a few shows. New Japan obviously canceled a show last week. Seedling has canceled the show. 2AW has canceled a few shows. And also, one that we talked about last week, St. Louis Anarchy, Spirit of Spalding, also was supposed to be running this weekend, but they are not going to be running this weekend. They're going to take, I think, until September. They're going to be off. So,
yeah, and we'll come back and talk about that when they return. But look, this is the COVID world we're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these were going to happen. So, I don't have any grandstanding thing to talk about. It's just, shows are going to get canceled.
You got to live with it. Shows are going to get canceled. Shows are going to get, people are going to catch the thing. We're just powering through, and it's not just in America. It's in Japan too. They're putting fans in the buildings now, and now, they've got wrestlers catching COVID, and they're canceling shows, and we're seeing it there. And it's just, as a world society, we've decided that we're just going to try to plow through this thing, and it is what it is. And you're going to see stuff get canceled, and you're going to see wrestlers come down with the thing. And, I don't know what people want me to say. I'm not against anybody running. I think these companies they need to run to survive, and you just make it as safe as you can, but you have to accept that this stuff is going to happen sometimes.
Let's talk about the live events, because this gets us right into AEW. They are officially announcing, this is a press release that we received as well. Quote, All Elite Wrestling announced it will host limited ticketed crowds of 10 to 15% capacity for its live shows at the open-air Daly's Place Amphitheater in Jacksonville, Florida, starting on Thursday, April 27th, to safely bring back the energy of a live audience to AEW shows in compliance with state and local regulations and CDC guidelines. A select number of physically distanced seating pods will be available for groups in 2, 3, 4, or 6 around the outdoor venue. For the first ticketed show on August 27th, a maximum crowd of 10% capacity will be permitted. Going forward, as long as safety protocols are followed meticulously, a maximum crowd of 15% will be permitted at all live events at Daly's Place. So what do you make of this news that AEW is now allowing ticketed fans back into the arena? Or open-air arena, we should say, yeah.
I'm not worked up about it. I know some people are worked up about it. I don't have a problem with it at all. They've had fans there anyway for the last 2 months or so. So the only change here is they're going to start charging tickets and charging people to get in. They're going to put a few hundred people in a building that holds a few thousand people. They're going to be wearing masks. They're going to have them socially distanced. I don't have a problem with it. There were fans there anyway. So I'm not going to sit here and pro clutch when the only difference here is now they're going to charge them. And I think slowly we're going to see this happen. I think WWE is going to figure out a way to start, paying fans in the buildings soon enough too. We know that indie shows, have been doing this for a month now, at least a month now. We're seeing them do it in Japan now. So I don't know. I'm not particularly worked up by it. I think if the local governments are allowing you to do it and you are taking proper precautions and doing everything in your power to at least and plus it's outdoors. I think that's the big key.
Yeah, that does play I think a pretty significant difference there is that you're outdoors. It's not in indoor arena, even with this certain capacity and these pods or whatever. I don't totally love it, but outdoor, you read the research, you do some of the research, and a lot of my research comes obviously from the nurse who's dealing with it on a daily basis or whatnot, and she seems to think, and her idea, and a lot of the research is following it up, that open air is just not nearly, it's not, unless you're in a big pile of people in the open air and you're screaming in each other's faces, it seems very unlikely that you're going to contract it just by going outside and being in a big time arena. There's baseball stadiums near me, like Independent Ball, that are allowing people in the audience, and it's just you buy your ticket and you sit away from people because it's a big arena, it's a big stadium, and you don't have to sit next to people. And, you wear your mask when you're in line in the bathroom, you wear your mask when you're in line to get food or whatever, and that's it. And then you go to your seat and you can wear your mask if you want, you can take the mask off if you want. That's all it is. But open air seems more and more like it's not a big deal, so I can't get too worked up about this either. If this was in an arena and we're going to do 50% capacity or whatever, yeah, okay, now I'm talking a little bit. Now I'm a little uneasy about it. But open air in a big giant place like Daly's Place, 10 to 15% capacity, I can't get upset about that.
I've been coming on this show every week saying that I don't understand why Major League Baseball is not selling tickets. In these giant 50,000 seat outdoor buildings, there's no reason you can't spread out 1,000 people or 2,000 people. If they're wearing masks and the concessions aren't open, and maybe you want to do the staggered entry and exit if you want, I can't get worked up about this when restaurants are open. And last weekend I went to a fucking zoo, and the zoo was packed. And then we went to out to eat after the fucking zoo and went to a packed restaurant. And I'm supposed to get worked up because we're putting a few hundred people inside of an outdoor venue with their masks on, socially distanced, what kind of a hypocrite would I be? People are going to restaurants. They're getting on airplanes. They're going to fucking zoos. They're going to amusement parks. Amusement parks are open. So why can't AEW charge and sell some tickets to an outdoor venue? Now, if this was an indoor venue, and I might have more of a problem with it. If the rest of if everything else was locked down and restaurants weren't open yet, bars weren't open, and amusement parks were closed, and this was like, if we were still in a lockdown, why are people pretending that we're still in a lockdown? I got news for you. We punted this a long time ago.
Yeah, go outside, leave the house, so you'll see. Like I don't consider myself like I've eaten indoors once. I've eaten outside a few times. I go grocery shopping. I do it, and like I'm still the more protective end of like I have friends that are out in crowded bars every weekend. They're flying all over the place. They're doing whatever. It's the idea that everyone's following the rules and staying in their house and doing that sort of stuff, that is long gone in this country.
Yeah, I mean, we've already punted. I mean, and we're already decided that we're just going to ride this thing out. It's too late, and I'm not even saying whether I agree or not. I'm just saying how it is. So if casinos are open and amusement parks and malls, I could go to the mall if I want to. Then how am I supposed to get worked up because they're selling tickets to fans who have already been there for the last 2 months to begin with? What's the big deal?
Right. You want to get mad at somebody, get mad at, the entire establishment for allowing all this, but you can't get mad at a company for trying to sell tickets and take, they look around and see other places that are allowing and go, well, why not us? And I can't hit them for that. I mean, if I was a businessman, I would say, oh, yeah, cool. I get it.
Yeah, I've been consistent all the way through. I don't mind that they're running to begin with. I have no problem with the safety protocols they have in place. I feel like it's working. And I don't even have a problem with WWE running. I had some problems with the protocols they were using, obviously, in the beginning, because that was a disaster. But I don't have a problem with them running now.
Yeah, finding out they weren't testing anybody for months was
bad,
not good. Yeah, right.
And I called them out for that.
But we haven't said a thing. Yeah, I haven't said a thing about them since because.
I mean, I don't have a problem with the indies running. I understand that every now and then someone's going to catch the thing, but it's like, if you're an advocate for total shutdown, I won't argue with you. That's fine, but we're long past that point. I just have to be realistic. We're not in total shutdown. I got news. We're not shut down at all. At all. Okay? Everyone puts on their little mask and they pretend to social distance, and really people don't even do that. Okay, you go into a grocery store, nobody's making an effort to stay 6 feet. I mean, come on. So it's like we punted a long time ago. So they already have the people they've had people in Daly's place for 2 months. Fuck yeah, I charge them too. And squeeze a few hundred more in there, and improve your atmosphere, which has been lagging on their live show. Their live shows have had terrible atmosphere to the point where they've been piping in sound, and the piped in sound sounds like shit. So, look. Do I think any of this is? Look, if we were still on a total lockdown, I'd be against it.
Yeah, if they were the one business that said, fuck it, we don't care what the rules are, we're going to have people at our show. Like, yeah, I call them out, but
that toothpaste is long out of the tube,
man. You look around and they're no different than anybody else. And is that right or wrong? Again, I'm not making a judgment call. It's not my call how the country is going to operate. It's, pandemic task force and how it's going to handle everything. Like I'm long past that, but yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and if there's another second wave or a major wave, then when we have to go backwards, then, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, college football is starting. A couple of the conferences are going forward, and a lot of them are letting fans in. The Big 12, they're leaving it up to the local governments. And a lot of those schools are going to have 30% capacity at football games. Giant outdoor stadiums. So, it's just that's how it is. AEW is not doing anything out of the ordinary. I've seen people make the argument, well, it's Florida. And, Florida's a fucking shit show. Well, yeah, maybe it is. But, and maybe it would be a little more acceptable if it were another state or something. But again, I don't know. I can't find it in me to get worked up about this. I just can't. I don't know. I really don't. I don't care. I've said that a lot on this show. I don't care that they're selling tickets.
All right, and then our final topic of the day before we depart here, Renee Young departing WWE. No exact drop-dead date, but we know that she'll be leaving WWE. Apparently the word is after SummerSlam, so this weekend appears to be her last weekend. She alerted the company last week that she was giving her notice, and she's out. So Renee Young leaving WWE, and now it'll be interesting to see where the next step is. A lot of people obviously bring up AEW. I kind of think she might be striving for a little bit more than that. Maybe ESPN, maybe sports networks. Those aren't hiring all that well. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she's got a nice Instagram presence. She might just decide to do YouTube shows. Who the hell knows? But either way, she has decided she's done with WWE, and yeah, there's been some Dave Meltzer alluded to the fact that her getting COVID and not really feeling like the response with the company was very good, and obviously with her husband in AEW, there seems like there's been a lot of tension between Renee Young and WWE. So there's no question that this seems like a time where she's definitely taking the opportunity to leave, and whatever her next step is, she's willing to take the risk that I just really don't want to be in this company anymore. So that's another one.
I've pissed off a lot of people on this show probably today. I'm going to just keep going.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
I like Renee Young. I think she's very likable, and I think she does a nice job with hosting duties and things like that. And I think she's very personable. But my God, you would think that they're losing Edward R. Murrow. Renee Young is not Walter Cronkite. Okay, can we pump the brakes on fucking Renee Young being like the world's greatest broadcaster and journalist? I mean, can we calm down with this stuff? Her loss means nothing to the company. It means nothing. I hate to break that to people, and I like her. But you can get anyone to host these dopey pregame shows for the pay-per-views, okay? And she was a good host on the FS1 show, and I don't know.
She was. I think she was the best, the best possible at being a robot. You know what I mean? That's probably the best compliment I can give her, is that she was really good at doing the WWE robot role. But I mean, I don't she could be easily replaced by just any other faceless robot. So
as far as the backstage interviews on the show, anyone, literally anyone can do that. No one is any better or worse than anyone when it comes to holding a mic in front of Randy Orton and
so my guest this time is Randy Orton. Randy Orton, how do you feel after the win? How do I feel, Renee?
Rich,
how do I feel?
Rich, you can do that tomorrow.
Yeah. It's not as hot. I'm not very hot, though.
You get some breast implants. You do that.
Then we're talking, what, 6K? 6K, you said?
6K.
For
you
TLD?
get,
All right,
you can go do that tomorrow. So she provided no value there. As a commentator on Raw, she was one of the worst people to ever commentate on Monday Night Raw. She was atrocious. She should never be allowed behind a microphone to call a pro wrestling match ever again in her life. She just isn't good at it. Hosting the FS1 show, they don't have anyone who could do it as well as she did. The show's canceled anyway, but she was great at that because she was able to show her personality a little bit, and she was very good controlling traffic with 4 or 5 people on the set. Excellent in that role. As far as the pay-per-view pre-shows and all that stuff, I don't know. I mean, she was fine, but it's not like Charlie Caruso can't do the same thing. It means nothing, okay? And she's talented, but these people say, oh, my God, she's too good for wrestling. She needs to get a job in real sports. What do you think Renee Young is going to be doing if she gets a job in quote-unquote real sports? She's going to be doing the same thing she was doing in WWE.
Right, breaking up. Yeah, she'll be sitting at a desk breaking up a argument between, I don't even know who's there, Marcellus Wiley and some other dude.
Yeah.
Is he still around? Marcellus Wiley's still around.
She's either going to host a fake argument show and do the same shit that she did in WWE, okay, or she's going to be at a desk on a pregame show for a fucking NBA game, and she's going to ask fucking whoever the fuck
Jalen Rose.
Who has the edge today, Jalen? And that, I mean, what do you think? She's not like this groundbreaking fucking talent. She's okay.
Do you think kids know who Edward R. Murrow is?
No.
Yeah, when you said that, I'm thinking about how many listeners I have that feverishly are typing in Edward R. Murrow to figure out who that is.
Oh, yeah, I threw in Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, right, in more, obviously.
And look, and again, I like Renee Young, but why are we overstating her talents and her relevance?
Remember the Kathy Kelly day? Oh my God, Kathy Kelly! I can't believe they're losing such a great talent again.
And the other thing I don't agree with is that they didn't utilize Renee Young properly. She did everything. What else was there for her to do, short of wrestling? They tried her on commentary, okay? They put her in the best position for her, which was like a host or behind the desk. She did tons of that. They let her host the FS1 show, which was her best role, and she did well in the role.
Well, I would say the one thing I would say is allow her to actually be what she was on Talking Smack, but as a backstage commentator. But they'll never do that. They'll never let the backstage commentator have any personality or ask real questions or actually try to, progress the story. It's just say the one word, my guest at this time, boom, and you get out of there. I think she could do a better job of that. I definitely think, more than just being the generic robot, but we'll never know, and that's exactly the role that they wanted to play. But you're right. They tried her in as many different things that they possibly could. It's just, yeah,
and she was great at what she's great at, and it didn't work out with some other things. I mean, the commentary wasn't good, and I'm not trying to bang on her. It just wasn't good. No one thought it was good. They didn't think it was good. They yanked her from the role, but that's okay. It's hard. Pro wrestling commentary is not easy. We talk about it all the time. But I mean, and I like her, but it's like, it's just so overstated. Like that day on Twitter was just like, so like, God, you people are really laying it on thick for someone who, she's likable and everything, but geez, they really made it out like, I don't even have a comparison for you, that they were losing the world's greatest fucking journalist by losing Renee Young. She's going to go, work for fucking, she's going to go do a studio show for the NHL hockey and do the same thing she was doing for Doug. Really, how far where do they think she's going in sports media? Like, what do they think she's going to do that's going to take advantage of these alleged amazing talents that she has? I don't understand what people think she's going to do. Is she going to end up on FS1 or ESPN hosting a fake argument show? I mean, maybe, but it's like, she'll get to crack a joke or two that maybe she didn't get to do it, but it's essentially the same role. I think she did stand out in WWE. In a weird way, I'm defending her because I think she did stand out over the other interview robots. I don't know any of the other ones' names. I just don't even know who they are. I don't know the difference between any of them. I knew who Renee Young was, and I knew she did a better job than the rest. But I still don't think it's some kind of major loss. And I think if she ends up in AEW, which is a very good possibility, because who wouldn't want to just fly to work with it's nice and easy. You fly to work once a week with your husband, you fly home, you get to spend time together, right? I think she'll do a good job there. And maybe she will get to show a little more personality when and ask fucking real questions and things like that. A more natural sounding, but I don't think she'll be a difference maker there or anything like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just grumpy today. I know I'm going to get in trouble for this entire show.
Yeah, that's fine. We did enough to get in trouble.
That's what this show is. It's me getting in trouble. This has been 8 years of me getting in trouble. So, why change now?
Sometimes I got in trouble for being too positive about stuff, and now we're getting in trouble for just being too negative on everything. So
the Reds lost the bottom of the ninth on a balk.
Oh,
I'm in a bad mood.
God, really? Oh, no.
What do you want from me?
That's pretty terrible.
Here was the bottom of the ninth. Are you ready?
Yeah, this sounds bad. Okay, because they were winning pretty late in the game, right?
4-2 the whole game. Listen, hit by pitch, walk, a 19 bounce dribbler through the infield, a balk, and the sacrifice fly with a 2-man outfield as they were. That was the ninth inning that they lost on. So I'm in a mood. Fucking mood.
God.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, that was it. So that's pro wrestling. I don't know.
It's not in a good place.
It's
Rich.
not in a good place. It's not in a good place.
Hey, I watched a bunch of good. I wrote.
Yeah,
2.
talk about that. Talk about that for a bit.
Okay, so I wrote 2 bouncing around Japan review pieces behind the paywall, $10 tier. Actually, the second of which is on all price tiers. So if you, for as little as $1, you can read that. The second part of my bouncing around Japan reviews. But I'm catching up on all the July and August Puro. I'm just watching the main events and the other stuff that looks like it's important, title matches, tournament matches, things of that nature, and the main events, and reviewing them behind the paywall. It's going to be probably a 3 or 4 part series by the time I get through everything. The first 2 parts are up. Part 1 is on the $10 tier, which is where you'll find all of our written content. Part 2 I made available to all price tiers, so you can at least read Part 2. Let me give you the matches that were on Part 2. Well, I'll give you both. I'll run them through. So Part 1, I reviewed 9 matches. Daishi Hashimoto versus Yasufumi Nakanoe. There's a Big Japan title match. Oh, this is Part 2. This is the one available to all price tiers. Nakajima versus Kano for the national title. Go Shiozaki versus Marufuji for the GHC title. Tetsuya Endo versus Yuki Ueno for the DDT openweight title. And then a tag match from the Big Japan 2AW joint show that drew 70 fans on July 21st. So that was part 2. Anyone could read that for as little as $1. And part 1, I reviewed. I won't give all 9. Yuji Okabayashi versus Ayato Yoshida, the 2AW title change, where Yoshida won the title. Also, the 0-1, the first round of their junior tournament. So there were a couple matches there. Big Japan tag titles, Daisuke Sekimoto and Kohei Sato versus Yuji Hino and Quiet Storm. The Big Japan junior tournament, all 4 of the first round matches that were involved with that. So a bunch of good stuff. This show has been super negative, but I think of the 9 matches that I reviewed in part 1, I think 4 of them were notebook matches, 4 of the 9. And then part 2, I reviewed 5 matches, and I think I went notebook on 4 of the 5. So if you want to hear me talk about wrestling that I liked and that I enjoyed, those 2 reviews are up behind the paywall. Bouncing Around Japan, written edition, parts 1 and 2.
There you go. Patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling for those. So, Joe, I think we are out of time here. We're up against the clock. Anything else before we go? Wish we had better wrestling.
I'm so disgusted with this Reds game that I don't even want to.
Yeah, well, go. You got boobs and wings waiting for you. Well, I actually have wings and snoring, but that's fine. You can.
I'm not even in the mood to fuck.
Oh, come on. Oh, no.
I'm not. I'm being honest.
No. A balk's going to take you away?
That inning was a fucking disaster. I mean, did you hear how that inning went?
It doesn't sound very good. No, that sounds like a really, really bad inning.
You go into the 9th inning with a 4-2 lead. Here, hold on. Let me make sure you understand how this inning went.
Yeah, it sounded like hit by pitch. It was a walk, hit by pitch.
I think I got it right, but hold on. So here's the bottom of the 9th for the Cardinals. Okay, you ready for this? Okay. Fuck is it? Okay, hit by pitch.
Yeah.
Walk.
Bad start.
Dexter Fowler hits a 19 bouncer fucking worm killer through the hole. Base hit, bases loaded. So still up 2, bases loaded, nobody out. Yadi Molina hits a tapper back to the mound, which would have been an easy 1-2-3 double play, right? Pitcher, catcher, first base.
Yeah.
Molina can't run. Misplayed by the pitcher, 4-3, bases still loaded. Nobody out. So now you got nobody out, bases loaded. It's 4-3. Okay? They tie the game on a balk. Now it's 4-4.
That right there is you just turn it off, and you assume you're going to lose that game.
I mean, the tapper back to the mound is more frustrating than the balk. So it's 4-4. It's 2nd and 3rd. There's nobody out. Strikeout, okay? And then the next guy up hits a fucking fly ball, and there's only 2 outfielders because they have the 5-man infield, and the game's over. So that's how the Reds lost the bottom of the 9th up to. That's disgusting. Rich, a 3-run homer I could deal with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, listen to that fucking inning.
Doesn't sound very fun. No.
And I'm sitting here watching this. I'm watching this while we're breaking down that awful Beyond Wrestling show.
Pinky Sanchez and Solo Darling.
And this inning is just unraveling while I'm fucking watching this.
God. Well, go get your wings and maybe go get your sex. Anyway, that's it for the Voice Wrestling Flagship Podcast. As you said, patreon.com/Voices Wrestling. We're going to do a SummerSlam post show. Hopefully, if internet all works out fine for us, but we'll try to do that on Sunday. VoiceWrestling.com/Patreon, where you can get the written Bounce Around Japan. I'm finishing up the Boys of Summer series. Going to do the next 2 or 3 years. Try to get at least up to 2016 of that series. So plenty of good content up there at voicesofwrestling.com/Patreon. Previews for all these shows, reviews for all these shows at voicesofwrestling.com. And you can also join our Discord to chat with us about all this stuff going on as well. Voicesofwrestling.com/Discord. So for Joe Lanza, I'm Rich Craich. See you next time on the Voice Wrestling Flagship Podcast. Take care.